In the cafeteria, my childhood friend had already saved a seat for me. Seeing I got my food, she winked at me, signaling me to come over. If it were before, I definitely would have refused, then waited to eat with the white moonlight campus goddess. But now, I obediently carried my tray over. Su Qingyue curled her lips and waved at me. Is anyone sitting here? Her voice somehow held a hint of anticipation. The guys nearby were immediately shocked. Damn, did they hear that right? Su Qingyue, this cold goddess who keeps people 1,000 miles away, the girl as bored with life as a block of ice, is now smiling so happily at a guy. And her voice is so gentle too. Did the great beauty Su take the wrong medicine today? Under the suspicious and astonished gazes of the classmates, I slowly sat down opposite Su Qingyue. I don't know if it was an illusion, but I felt like the person across from me was in a really good mood. I didn't think much of it and bowed my head to quietly eat my minced meat noodles, trying to ignore the shocked expressions of my classmates. Just then, Su Qingyue suddenly spoke up. Why didn't you get the double-layer milk cake? I looked at the table. Other classmates all had double-layer milk cakes on their tables. Sure enough, everyone had one except me. I chewed my noodles, calmly said they ran out. Just as it was my turn, they were gone. Then I continued to bow my head and eat noodles. Anyway, my luck has never been very good. Suddenly, a jade-like hand pushed a double-layer milk cake in front of me. I froze and looked up. The cafeteria was a bit noisy. Su Qingyue stared at me and said slowly, "Then I'll give you mine." I didn't want to eat it anyway. I stared at the milk cake that was pushed over. A strange feeling suddenly rose in my heart. I softly said thank you. The next second, a cold figure suddenly entered my line of sight. I sensed something and looked over. Yang Yuting was standing not far away. Her gaze fell precisely on me. Her expression was as cold as frost, as if the surrounding air had dropped to freezing point. Behind her were 3 or 4 other girls. One of them looked at me with eyes full of disdain, saying, "Why don't you come over and eat with our sister Ting?" The sudden mockery rang out. My hand suddenly stopped. I recognized this rich second generation, Song Xinyue, incompetent and unlearned. A little princess spoiled since childhood. She got into Jinling University because her family donated a few buildings. In the first year of high school, Song Xinyue used to chase me, after I tactfully rejected her. Song Xinyue immediately lost it. She frantically belittled me in front of Yang Yuting, calling me a country bumpkin who doesn't even know luxury brands. With such a poor background, I'm basically not worthy of Yang Yuting. At the same time, another girl behind Yang Yuting also noticed me. She told me in a lazy voice, "Hurry over here. If you're not here, no one gets chopsticks for us." From beginning to end, Yang Yuting didn't say a word, naturally assuming I would definitely go over there. She also never helped me refute them, letting the people around her demean me. Beside me, Su Qingyue tensed up completely. Those beautiful eyes stared coldly at Yang Yuting. I waved my hand at Su Qingyue, then took a deep breath. Looking towards Yang Yuting, my tone was calm and serious. "I won't be going with you guys anymore." My voice wasn't very loud, but enough for the classmates present to hear clearly. Everyone felt stunned, their faces full of astonishment. Almost everyone at Jinling University knows the school has a simp named Gu Xingcheng, chasing after Yang Yuting every day, pursuing from high school to university, truly deeply devoted. How could he suddenly change like that? Song Xinyue gaped, an expression of disbelief on her face. Her volume immediately went up a few notches. "What did you say?" I lowered my eyes and repeated, "I won't be going with you guys anymore." However, as soon as the words fell, Yang Yuting's eyes were instantly covered with a layer of cold frost. Her face darkened, her voice cold, carrying a tone that allowed no resistance. Ordering word by word, "Gu Xingcheng, come here." But I remained sitting still, with no intention of moving. The friends beside Yang Yuting were completely stunned, looking at each other in confusion. No one expected it. Gu Xingcheng actually refused. Did he take the wrong medicine today, or is it some playing hard to get trick? Yang Yuting's cold eyes stared at me. A moment later, she left expressionlessly, not bothering to look at me one more time, as if nothing had happened, waiting until they had completely left. I finally let out a sigh of relief, but my mood was ruined by Yang Yuting and her group. Even lunch became tasteless. I bowed my head in silence, hanging my head, poking the bowl continuously with my chopsticks. Probably sensing the atmosphere wasn't good, the girl eating nearby started to stir up the atmosphere. "Sister Qingyue, do you know this handsome guy?" Su Qingyue smiled radiantly, then said seriously, "Let me formally introduce him. This is Gu Xingcheng. He's my..." She intentionally dragged out her voice, making my eyelid twitch. My heart tightened for some reason. Everyone present fell silent, pricking up their ears to listen. Their eyes revealed a hint of anticipation and curiosity. Su Qingyue paused for a moment, then added, "My childhood sweetheart, he's 2 months older than me, the bamboo horse brother I grew up with since we were little." The girls revealed envious expressions, dying of jealousy inside. Damn, why don't they have such a handsome childhood friend? Su Qingyue ignored the teasing gazes around her, just curving her thin lips upwards. Her roommate, Chen Shishi, spoke up. "Gu Xingcheng, your sister Qingyue's childhood friend. If we round it up, you're also our childhood friend brother." So enthusiastic it caught people off guard. My face was full of question marks. "Can you round it up like that?" The girls started chatting. "The name Gu Xingcheng sounds really nice." "Right, it's just like a main character's name in a novel." Finishing the meal, I couldn't help but laugh. Sighing inside, the dining atmosphere with Su Qingyue was truly great. Her close friends are really sincere and enthusiastic, unlike those rich friends of Yang Yuting, always pointing fingers at me, picking faults everywhere, and I could only pretend not to understand those sarcastic remarks. With the comparison, I realized how exhausting that time really was. On the other hand, Yang Yuting's mood seemed extremely bad. After eating, no one dared to speak at the table, afraid of provoking her. Song Xinyue said with a bad tone, "Just great. This Gu Xingcheng is truly a philanderer. Now he's clinging to Su Qingyue." Just as the words fell, Yang Yuting's steps suddenly stopped, brows furrowed tightly, her face incredibly unsightly. Thunder suddenly rumbled in the sky. The next second, lightning slashed across the sky. Heavy rain poured down unexpectedly. Students hurriedly opened their umbrellas, starting to complain about this damn erratic weather. Song Xinyue walked beside Yang Yuting, holding an umbrella for her. Then she sneered contemptuously, "I know. Gu Xingcheng wants to play hard to get, doesn't he? It's hilarious to death." Another girl chimed in, snorting coldly. "Can he withstand it? I bet in less than a week, he'll come crawling back." Song Xinyue shook her head. "A week? I give him 2 days at most." At this moment, Yang Yuting suddenly stopped walking. Her expression froze for an instant. They followed Yang Yuting's gaze, only to see a man and a woman in the distance sharing a black umbrella, shoulder to shoulder, looking at each other and smiling, like a couple in the passionate stage of dating. The heavy rain put a misty filter over them, looking somewhat ambiguous and intimate. Everyone looked closer. All eyes widened. "Isn't this Gu Xingcheng and Su Qingyue?" A moment later, Song Xinyue narrowed her eyes. "Good, very good. If you're going to act, go all the way. Pretty clever tactics. Sister Ting, don't be fooled. Everyone knows. Gu Xingcheng likes Yang Yuting, painstakingly chasing Yang Yuting for so many years. Seeing no results, he probably thought of pulling some petty tricks. They all came from wealthy families. They've really seen too many of these cheap tactics." Yang Yuting stood motionless on the spot, her eyes cold as ice, her face even gloomier than the dark clouds in the sky. A moment later, she turned and left expressionlessly. Song Xinyue and the others hurriedly followed. The rain got heavier and heavier. Su Qingyue's dormitory was quite far from the cafeteria, and not in the same direction as mine. I saw Su Qingyue didn't have an umbrella, so I took the opportunity to walk her back. Su Qingyue huddled close to me, almost pressing her whole body against mine. Seeing this, I offered my arm to her. My voice was husky. "Hold my arm." Su Qingyue froze and slowly looked up. Her eyes were a bit confused. "What?" I looked at her seriously, repeating my words. "Hold my arm. The rain is heavy. It'll be easier to walk together like this. Don't girls usually link arms like this?" Su Qingyue lowered her head in silence, but inside she was screaming wildly, "Boo-hoo, you dummy. He even knows it's between girls. Since when do guys and girls link arms like that?" I didn't know what I was thinking then, suddenly chuckling softly. "When you were little, you used to cling to my arms and neck. Couldn't pry you off. Not only did you say you wanted to strangle me, you said you wanted to peel a layer of my skin off. Forgot all about that?" Hearing this, Su Qingyue looked up and glared at me. That was all when we were kids. Maybe she was really afraid of getting wet. After speaking, she gave a soft humph. As if possessed, she reached out and took my arm, pressing close to me. The distance closed. Even the girl's breath drifted over, enveloping me bit by bit, so close, too close. I blinked, suddenly feeling the umbrella handle in front of me tilt, and it was tilting towards her. Su Qingyue suddenly spoke. "You're holding the umbrella crooked. You'll get wet." I came back to my senses, casually saying, "Oh, as long as you're okay." Then I paused for a bit, adding absently, "I like getting rained on." As soon as the words ended, I suddenly felt this scene was a bit familiar. The next second, my head suddenly throbbed with pain. My mind was in chaos, my ears ringing. My whole body instantly lost strength, leaning into Su Qingyue. Memories of my past life seemed to flood my mind again, that gloomy night in my previous life, when my 23rd birthday was about to end, finally waiting for Yang Yuting's birthday wish, congratulating me, heart pounding, full of expectation, opening the chat. The next second, feeling like I fell into an ice cellar. "He's back in the country. I have to go pick him up." The moment the cold message appeared, word by word piercing my eyes, my face stiffened, my gaze glazed over. My heart felt like it was being squeezed by a giant hand. It was the young master of the Qin family, the childhood friend Yang Yuting knew since childhood, handsome and rich, a perfect match for her family. Seeing the message, even knowing Yang Yuting didn't actually like this childhood friend, knowing it was only for cooperation with the Qin family, I was still very sad, bitterness spreading in my heart. A thunderclap echoed through the sky. The sky suddenly poured rain, raindrops ruthlessly falling on my face. The next second, a red car flashed blinding lights, speeding towards me, almost crashing into my face. My body froze, face pale, throat dry, my vision blurred. In that instant, someone hugged me tightly from behind and lunged forward, grazing past that red car. I was dizzy and dazed. Seeing a familiar face right in front of me, I froze. My voice choked up. It was Su Qingyue. The air stagnated in that moment. It seemed like only the two of us were left in the world. Su Qingyue's face was tense, hugging my waist. Standing still, taking a deep breath, wanting to speak but stopping. Silence for a long time. She finally let go, her voice a bit hoarse. "Long time no see. My eyes were red. Long time no see. Since Yang Yuting and I got together, I hadn't contacted Su Qingyue for a very long time. After graduation, we never met again. Su Qingyue picked up the black umbrella on the ground and held it over me. Just finished a concert. Happened to pass by here. Su Qingyue paused for a moment, her voice dry, extremely restrained, whispering a congratulation in my ear. In that moment, the tears I held back finally couldn't help but fall. I was full of anticipation, waiting all day and not getting Yang Yuting's wish. Yet hearing Su Qingyue, whom I hadn't seen in years, tell me in person, "Happy birthday, Gu Xingcheng." This memory was clearer than in previous dreams, more detailed. My dizziness gradually faded. There was an indescribable feeling in my heart. Emotions from the past life rushed back. My nose also stung involuntarily, looking at Su Qingyue. The current Su Qingyue is still a freshman, and the Su Qingyue who would later become the diva of Hua country miraculously overlapped at this moment. Those bitter emotions from the past life came flooding back, drowning me completely. Hard to breathe. Su Qingyue reached out her slender, jade-like hand, gently wiping the water droplets from my face. "What's wrong? If something's wrong, you can tell me. Don't carry it alone. Hear me?" I nodded, softly saying, "It's nothing." Su Qingyue's thin lips moved, pausing for a moment. Finally saying nothing, she lowered her long lashes, hiding the fleeting gloom in her eyes. "Seeing you so sad, you still don't forget to protect that Yang person. How much do you like her anyway?" I shook my head. "I don't like her anymore." My voice was very soft. If not listened to carefully, it couldn't be heard. But Su Qingyue's fingers stiffened, steps suddenly stopping. "What did you say?" I looked at her seriously and said, "I don't like Yang Yuting anymore." Word by word, like raindrops hitting the ground hard, falling into Su Qingyue's ears. Time seemed to stop. Su Qingyue's heart suddenly pounded, the corners of her lips curving up slightly. Congratulations on finally seeing the light. At the same time, she secretly rejoiced in her heart, also congratulating herself. Finally waited until this moment. After walking Su Qingyue back to her dorm, I also returned to my dorm and rushed into the bathroom to shower. Waiting until my emotions stabilized, I opened the diary in the drawer. The first page had a Polaroid photo stuck to it on the school anniversary stage. Yang Yuting sat on stage playing the piano, with an otherworldly aura, cold and noble. I could never forget her under the brilliant lights. The appearance of the girl playing the piano. A stunning sight. One look and I was lost. Since then, I started paying attention to her, caring about her but always careful, not daring to approach. Yang Yuting is a rich young lady, surrounded by everyone, an unreachable existence. While I was just a tiny speck of dust, gloomy and unseen by the sun. Until that day, on the way to practice, I encountered heavy rain. A luxury car suddenly stopped in front of me. The car window slowly rolled down. Yang Yuting's eyes, exquisite as glazed glass, looked at me. Her cold voice rang out. I heard no boy had ever been allowed in Yang Yuting's car, and no boy had ever gotten Yang Yuting's contact info. But I was the only one. Perhaps this difference, this unique treatment made me delusional, imagining a beautiful dream. The school anniversary ended. I accidentally overheard those girls asking, "What kind of boys does Yang Yuting like?" Yang Yuting's calm voice came from inside the door, proactive, enthusiastic, and obedient. So I made up my mind, using all my confidence and courage to train myself. Thinking back now, it's ridiculous. If Yang Yuting didn't like me, she could have totally rejected me like she did other guys, flatly rejecting me. But Yang Yuting, many times when I wanted to give up, gave me different illusions, giving me a glimmer of hope. Just because of that hope, I held a sincere heart, full of enthusiasm, finally getting battered by ice water. Reality is never a novel. How can a poor kid pursue a rich young lady? Thinking of this, I threw the diary into the trash can, then opened my phone. Without hesitation, I deleted Yang Yuting and all her friends. Blocked them all. Everything should end completely now. I absolutely won't make the same mistake again. I lay on the bed and pulled up the blanket. For the first time feeling completely free and at ease, I drifted off to sleep. In my dreams, memories of the past life flickered back. A melodious voice gently tapping on my eardrums. Memories chaotic and blurry. I could only vaguely make out a familiar woman looking at me, seriously saying, "You were never a tiny speck of dust. You are the brightest, most brilliant star." The next afternoon, my roommate Li Yu and I both signed up for the basketball game. On the court, Li Yu looked surprised, asking softly, "You're not kidding me, right? You really don't like Yang Yuting anymore? Weren't you planning to help her maintain her piano today? I thought you wouldn't play in the game today." I nodded, looking at him. "Really? Or else I'm a fake." Li Yu tilted his chin up. "I haven't liked the look of that woman for a long time, but because you liked her so much, so I didn't badmouth her in front of you. Now ill say it all. Wearing that ice-cold face every day, just like a refrigerator. Plus, those friends around her are always making snide remarks, right in front of you. Even gold diggers wouldn't dig up such a psycho, right?" Li Yu spoke vividly, eyes almost breathing fire. "See if I'm right." I nodded, saying nothing. Just then, the guys around suddenly erupted. "Damn, the great beauty Yang came to watch the game? Did she just look our way?" I turned my head to glance at her. This basketball game was between colleges of Jinling University, School of Economics versus School of Information Technology, but the audience's attention in this match was focused on the stands. Two great campus beauties appearing in the same frame immediately attracted the eyes of many male students. Not far away, Yang Yuting looked at me. Her cold expression softened a lot. The girls behind Yang Yuting also noticed my gaze, disdain appearing in their eyes, revealing an as expected expression. Said he couldn't pretend for long. Doesn't he still hope for Sister Ting to come? Song Xinyue giggled. Isn't that right? Wait for the game to end. Hell definitely comes scurrying over. The next second, Li Yu suddenly nudged my shoulder. Hey, Gu Xingcheng, is that your childhood friend? I was just about to turn my head to look. The girls below the stands suddenly craned their necks, screaming wildly. So handsome, boohoo. Even more handsome than my old idol. Insanely handsome. I don't have class this afternoon, just randomly grabbed a seat. Who knew Jixian would come? These visuals are truly superb. Hey, that guy from the IT school is also super handsome. Didn't expect the quality of juniors this year to be so high. Who do you think is better? Only kids make choices. Song Xinyue looked at Ji Shanju, eyes shining bright. Need you ask? Definitely brother Ji is better. He's been trained by professional coaches since he was young. Even joined the youth team in middle school. Seriously so handsome. Yang Yuting beside her nodded slightly, her fair hand gently holding a bottle of water. Then she shifted her gaze from Ji Xianju, looking towards Gu Xingcheng over there. As for me, because the crowd was too loud, I couldn't immediately find where Su Qingyue was sitting. Unexpectedly, just glancing over, I caught Yang Yuting's eye again. Stopping for just 2.5 seconds, I looked away, continuing to search for that figure. Below the stands, Su Qingyue's body stiffened slightly, following my gaze. Only one person was sitting there, Yang Yuting. Su Qingyue pursed her lips tightly. Why isn't he looking at me? He's looking at Yang Yuting again, the jerk. Gu Xingcheng said he didn't like her anymore, liar. Seeing this scene, she felt the surrounding air become bitter. True, after so many years, she was used to it. Chen Shishi saw her expression wasn't right and asked, "What's wrong? Qingyue in a bad mood?" Su Qingyue remained silent, but the next second, I suddenly looked precisely in her direction. Our eyes met, eyes locking. Su Qingyue was suddenly dazed, then raising her hand, eyes curving, two cute dimples appearing by her lips, revealing a radiant smile, like a pear blossom just opening. She mouthed to me, fighting. Seeing this, the corners of my mouth lifted. At this moment, it felt like brilliant fireworks exploding in my heart pounding, almost jumping out of my chest, feeling my face heat up. I could only cough softly and nod, then pretending to casually look around. 800 fake moves a second to hide my inner panic. When the whistle blew, the game started. I moved quickly stealing the ball. Su Qingyue below the stand, smiling, watching the tall, handsome boy. Like a calculating hawk, strategizing. Every move exuding a reckless, wild vibe. The basketball seemed glued to his hand, very obedient, going into the basket steadily. The first shot was already a three-pointer. This shot immediately stirred up the excitement. Su Qingyue watched the ball intently. As a result, the ball was like a goblin passed to other guys, flying back and forth, finally obediently returning to my hands. The basketball once again traced an arc like a meteor, precisely into the basket. The scene was incredibly dramatic. The two sides were almost tied. After scoring, everyone around applauded and cheered, watching until their eyes were dazzled, not knowing who they were cheering for. Ji Shanju didn't have much of an expression, seeming not to care about winning or losing at all. He easily sank a shot, precise movements, slender, straight figure, with the aura of a magnolia tree. It's in classmates around started cheering. Some girls' cheeks even blushed slightly. Usually see Jixian playing music and singing, giving speeches on stage. Ever seen him play basketball before? Why is he so cold and noble even when playing sports? Ji Xianju glanced expressionlessly at these dreamy girls. Suddenly, his gaze stopped on Su Qingyue. Beautiful willow leaf eyes curved into lovely stars, her whole body exuding a gentle, innocent aura. Ji Xianju's heart suddenly fluttered. So there's such a pure, lively girl in the world, but her gaze wasn't directed at him. Ji Xianju frowned slightly, following Su Qingyue's gaze towards me. At this moment, I was smiling and waving at Su Qingyue, completely unaware of two other cold gazes. Below the stands, Yang Yuting clenched her hands tight, nails digging into her palms. The game on the court continued. Ji Xianju glanced at the guy next to him to signal. The opponent narrowed his eyes, immediately sneakily blocking Gu Xingcheng, intentionally pressing close to him, using hands, feet, and shoulders to restrict his offense, maliciously blocking the way, but keeping it within limits, dancing wildly on the edge of a foul. After all, these are cheating tactics they often use, but this certainly couldn't be done by Ji Xianju himself. I had long noticed the petty actions of the two guys next to me, directly pushing them away. Very quickly, the game reached its conclusion. All eyes were on me, the ball in my hand like stars leaving my grasp. The eyes of the whole stadium focused on that ball. but the ball flew onto the rim, acting spoiled, spinning 2 or 3 times on the rim, refusing to go in. Su Qingyue's heart pounded inexplicably, her whole body tense, silently praying it would go in. The next second, that ball went firmly into the basket. The winner was decided. The whole stadium immediately erupted. Cheers rang out ceaselessly. The IT school beat the economics school by 2 points. The rock in her heart finally dropped. Breathing a sigh of relief, those beautiful clear eyes sparkled, but wondering if it was an illusion. She always felt 2 gazes focused on her. One burning hot, one cold. But when she looked up, no one was looking at her. Just then, Chen Shishi suddenly handed over an unopened bottle of water, stuffing it into Su Qingyue's hand. Here you go. Su Qingyue snapped her head up. Her small head, full of big questions. Chen Shishi giggled. Go give water to your childhood friend, hurry. After speaking, she clutched her stomach. Rushing to the restroom, I feel it coming. This time it's a number 2. You don't need to wait for me. Su Qingyue was bewildered, looking down at the water bottle in her hand, then looking up at the boy dribbling the ball not far away. He seemed not to be looking at that girl anymore, so Su Qingyue secretly made a decision. Just finished playing, I was a bit thirsty. My eyes kept accidentally landing on a certain little rabbit. The little rabbit holding a water bottle was slowly approaching me. So cute. My Adam's apple bobbed. Couldn't explain the feeling in my heart. Li Yu was drenched in sweat, dead tired, saying carelessly, I'll go get water for you. Thirsty as hell. I refused immediately. No need, I won't drink. The girls nearby saw I didn't have water, one by one fixing their hair, walking up, politely flashing sweet smiles. Classmate, you played so well. Do you want some water? Can I have your contact info? I'm also a student at the IT school. I refused without hesitation. Sorry, I'm not drinking. I didn't even get a good look at those girls' faces as I squeezed out of the crowd. I walked towards Su Qingyue. Suddenly, a beautiful figure appeared in front of me. I couldn't see clearly. Thinking it was her approaching, I unconsciously reached out my left hand. Smiling, I scratched my head with my right hand. Yang Yuting was standing there holding a water bottle. Her red lips curled up smugly, exuding a noble aura. Confident as a queen, her slender hand extended the water bottle. At that moment, seeing clearly who it was, I hurriedly pulled my hand back, but my mind went blank, and for a moment, I didn't know what to say. Su Qingyue, about 4 or 5 meters away from us, immediately stopped in her tracks. She clutched the water bottle tightly to her chest. A forced smile appeared on her beautiful face. Then she turned toward the door. Sorry. My hand just slipped, I explained quickly. I hurriedly turned around, but I only saw Su Qingyue's back as she walked out of the main gate. After eating, I returned to the dorm. Upon hearing the door open, my roommates immediately turned their heads, looking at me meaningfully. I asked, a bit puzzled, what's going on? Why so serious? The next second, Anya Cheng looked at me and asked, Guxing Cheng, tell me the truth. Do you really not like Yang Yuting anymore? I nodded. I didn't say anything. My pursuit of Yang Yuting in the past was something everyone knew. It wasn't a secret. I don't know how many people mocked me behind my back. And Yi Cheng looked up, holding a few tarot cards in his hand. Actually, I used tarot cards in astrology a while ago to calculate the outcome for you and Yang Yuting. But seeing how hopeful you were chasing her back then, I hid it and didn't tell you. Do you want to know now? And Yi Cheng was always obsessed with fortune-telling, researching metaphysics, spending all day in the room studying tarot cards and horoscopes. I nodded, looking at him. Go ahead. And Yi Cheng sighed. The result is, if you two get together, the ending won't be good. It will even seriously affect your career. Thinking for a moment, he added another sentence. But my calculations aren't 100% accurate. It's pretty mystical. Believe it or not, it's up to you. I pursed my lips. I believe it. Suddenly, Li Yu curiously poked his head in. Bro, give me a reading too. Can I stop being single this freshman year? When will I meet my future wife? And Yi Cheng happily agreed. After shuffling, he did a reading for him. Li Yu rubbed his hands nervously. How is it? How is it? And Yi Cheng looked at the spread. He pursed his lips, patted his shoulder and consoled. Brother, you'll probably remain single. Li Yu clutched his heart in pain. He hurriedly grabbed a potato chip to slit his wrist. They say if you don't find someone in freshman year, you'll be single for all 4 years of college. Looks like I'm destined to be single since birth. At this moment, I spoke up. Brother Cheng, can you help me check someone else? And Yi Cheng nodded. It's Su Qingyue, right? Give me Su Qingyue's information. Not long after, Anya Cheng's brows furrowed even tighter. Wait, let me recalculate yours using a different method. Turtle shells, bamboo sticks, tarot cards, astrology. Eastern and Western divination methods were all used. Over 10 minutes later, his expression grew increasingly serious. Gu Xingcheng, you and Su Qingyue are destined, a match made in heaven. You two, in the past life and this life. Even in the next life, it's highly likely you'll be together. Then, I was surrounded by my 3 roommates again, strictly interrogated. Things like Su Qingyue's height and weight, family background, personality, achievements. They asked about everything clearly. At 11 p.m., the dorm lights went out. I curled up under the blanket looking at study materials. Suddenly, a message from Su Qingyue popped up on my phone. When are you treating me to dinner? Seeing this message, I was a bit dazed, trying to remember when I agreed to treat her to a meal. Although I couldn't recall, I still replied, Is tomorrow noon okay? What do you want to eat? Su Qingyue replied, I'll follow your lead. The next day, after finishing 4 classes, As soon as class ended, I ran straight to the third floor of the cafeteria. At this time, the cafeteria was crowded with students. Basically, every stall had a line. Guxing Cheng. A sweet, melodious voice suddenly rang out from behind. I turned around to see Su Qingyue standing up and waving at me. I went over and sat down, looking at the small dumplings on the table. You bought them already? Su Qingyue replied softly. I didn't have classes during the third and fourth periods. I looked at her quizzically. Didn't I say I would treat you? Su Qingyue picked up a small dumpling and chuckled softly. It's the thought that counts. How could I really let you pay? Before she could finish speaking, I slid a cup of milk tea in front of her. I passed by a milk tea shop, so I bought this for you, like it was no big deal. Su Qingyue took the milk tea cup. Her fingers tightened slightly around the medium-sized jasmine taro milk tea. It was indeed her favorite flavor. If I remembered correctly, that milk tea shop is quite far from the boys' dorm. On the way indeed. Su Qingyue lowered her head and took a sip of the mashed taro at the bottom. Smooth and fragrant, the sweet aroma spread endlessly. Warmth filled her heart. It's so good. I raised an eyebrow. The corner of my mouth quirked up slightly. Glad you like it. Su Qingyue's gaze slowly turned towards me. I immediately lowered my eyes, pretending nothing happened. Su Qingyue suddenly burst into laughter, gently calling my name. Guxing Cheng. My eyelid twitched. I gave a hum of acknowledgement. What are you laughing at? Su Qingyue propped her chin on one hand, smiling. Do you know that when you sneak a peek at someone, it's very obvious? I suddenly remembered the incident in the cafeteria the other day, so I spoke up to change the subject. Thank you for helping me out the other day. Hearing that, Su Qingyue's eyes held complex emotions. After thinking for a moment, she curled her lips. If you really want to thank me, go to the amusement park with me this weekend. I nodded and smiled. At the same time, the image of us in the same frame was secretly snapped by someone in the corner, on a dimly lit staircase. A girl suddenly screamed in shock. Oh my god, Sis Ting, look at this! Quick, Yang Yuting frowned slightly, expressionless, staring at her. The girl scratched her head, explaining, Gu Xingcheng went to eat with another girl again. The next second, clank. Yang Yuting stopped in her tracks. The glass in her hand suddenly fell to the ground, shattering. Clearly, her mood was terrible now. That girl immediately zoomed in on the photo, holding the phone screen in front of her. My friend took it. Gu Xingcheng is eating with another girl again. Yang Yuting stared at my smile in the photo. Her gaze was as cold as ice. At that moment, a girl whispered, he rejected us before. Maybe he really won't come back this time. Hearing that, Yang Yuting's face suddenly darkened. Her tone was cold and certain, articulating every word. Impossible. Gu Xingcheng likes me that much. He chased me for so many years. How could he just leave like that? Song Xinyue, standing beside her, snorted in disdain. It's just playing hard to get. Don't fall for it. Sis Ting's birthday is coming up. When the time comes, we won't invite him. He'll naturally get anxious. Another girl chimed in. Right. I overheard before that Gu Xingcheng is preparing a birthday gift for Sis Ting. As soon as she finished, scornful laughter erupted around them. Hearing this, Yang Yuting's brows slowly relaxed. The emotion in her eyes softened significantly. She believed that Gu Xingcheng couldn't leave her. The next day, Sunday, sunlight filtered through the leaves, creating dappled shadows. At this time, the amusement park entrance was packed with adults and children. Su Qingyue looked at the scenery in amazement, occasionally exclaiming. I walked up beside her, asking what she wanted to play. Su Qingyue paused, hesitating for a moment, pointing to the nearest spot. Then can we play bumper cars? I nodded. Sure. Su Qingyue chose a cream-yellow bumper car first. She obediently fastened her seatbelt, heart pounding, eyes shining, expectant. With a loud clang, the game started. Su Qingyue slowly gripped the steering wheel tightly, still seriously studying the accelerator, brake, and reverse, driving carefully. Suddenly, bam! She was hit hard from behind. Startled, she turned her head to look at the culprit. I was behind her, raising my hand in greeting. Su Qingyue took a deep breath. Angry, cheeks puffed, she stepped on the gas and turned the wheel hard. Refusing to lose, she wanted to hit back. As a result, she had only turned halfway. Another bam. She was knocked slightly to the right. I nudged her gently from the side. Compared to the powerful impact before, this time it felt more like I was teasing her, seeing she didn't react. I naughtily bumped her forward again slightly. This time, rather than a bump, it was more like pressing up against her. Su Qingyue's small face tensed up. Looking up at me, her voice held a hint of inexplicable grievance. And a bit of pleading. Gu Xingcheng, stop hitting me. We played all day. We tried almost every ride. That evening, in the most luxurious VIP room of Dijue KTV, under the dazzling chandelier and magnificent lights, Yang Yuting sat in the center. Hearing the noisy singing, a sense of irritation rose within her. She couldn't help but frown. Shut up, all of you. The noisy KTV room instantly went silent. The lively atmosphere vanished immediately, the temperature dropping sharply, as if winter would arrive in the next second. Everyone looked at each other, not daring to breathe loudly. No one could guess Yang Yuting's thoughts. The protagonist wasn't happy, so naturally they dared not speak casually. Last year's birthday was spent the same way. Although the eldest Miss Yang looked cold, she was very lively then. Back then, her mood was clearly very good. Why is she so weird today? Compared to last year, everything is the same, only one person is missing. At this moment, a girl spoke up tentatively, her voice cautious. Why don't we invite Gu Xingcheng too? No one expressed an opinion, observing Yang Yuting's expression. Hearing that, Yang Yuting finally reacted and nodded. That girl immediately understood and started typing a message. Song Xinyue wasn't very happy, snorting coldly. Sis Ting, Gu Xingcheng is definitely waiting for us to call him right now. Wouldn't that be falling into his trap? The person next to her chimed in. Exactly, the more we ignore him, the more anxious he'll get. Yang Yuting was silent for a while. She glanced at them coldly. Call him over. That girl finally pressed send. The next second, her eyes suddenly widened in disbelief. Staring at the phone screen, she stammered, Gu Xingcheng. He actually... Song Xinyue crossed her legs absent-mindedly. What? Did he reply immediately? The girl shook her head, looking shocked. No, he blocked me. As soon as she finished speaking, everyone seemed to realize something. They took out their phones one by one to contact Gu Xingcheng. Holy crap, I'm blocked too. Why am I blocked as well? I've never even spoken a word to him. Undoubtedly, the entire army was wiped out. Only Yang Yuting hadn't sent a message yet. Everyone looked at each other, vaguely guessing something but feeling it was impossible. Even if Gu Xingcheng intentionally blocked them, he absolutely wouldn't block Yang Yuting. Yang Yuting opened her phone, expressionless. Scrolling through the chat history, her beautiful eyes narrowed slightly. It was mostly messages Gu Xingcheng had proactively sent. But there weren't many messages, and he didn't talk about boring trivia. Each time he was very careful, keeping a polite distance, afraid of disturbing her. On the contrary, her replies were much colder, like a machine without any warmth, usually just an "oh," a period, or even no reply at all. Snapping back to reality, Yang Yuting frowned slightly. She typed a question mark into the chat box and hit send. No matter what, Gu Xingcheng shouldn't have, on the day before her birthday, blocked all the girls around her. This was utterly ridiculous. But the next second, a red exclamation mark suddenly appeared, glaringly bright, like a sharp knife stabbing straight into her eyeballs. Message sent but rejected by the recipient. This means blocked. If he had just unfriended her, it would say the user has enabled friend verification. Yang Yuting stared at the chat interface, her face dark and cold, her arrogant mask suddenly cracked. Everyone watched her reaction, their hearts skipping a beat, extremely shocked. Impossible. Gu Xingcheng is actually cruel enough to block even Yang Yuting? Such a risky fishing tactic is truly unheard of. He must have an expert guiding him behind the scenes, under the dim lights of the KTV. Half of Yang Yuting's face was hidden in the shadows. A cold glint flashed in her eyes. Her voice was ice cold. Call him. Use a strange number to call Gu Xingcheng. Song Xinyue immediately took out her phone, hesitating, looking awkward. It seems none of us saved his phone number. Yang Yuting's voice was cold as she blurted out the number. Only when Song Xinyue made the call did everyone realize. It turned out Yang Yuting knew Gu Xingcheng's number by heart. On the other side, at the amusement park, I was queuing for the restroom. Suddenly, my phone rang. It was an unknown number. Su Qingyue glanced down, not answering, probably a scam, until the phone rang incessantly, time after time, as if it were an emergency that had to be answered. Su Qingyue finally swiped the screen to answer. The next second, Song Xinyue's scolding voice suddenly rang out, her tone unfriendly. Gu Xingcheng, you're really something, aren't you? You dare to block us? Hearing this, the beautiful Su Qingyue narrowed her eyes, returning to her cold demeanor. Song Xinyue, what is with your attitude? In the VIP room, the phone was on speaker. Su Qingyue's voice reached everyone's ears. Everyone froze. Why is it Su Qingyue? Why is Su Qingyue answering Gu Xingcheng's phone? Yang Yuting's face was stern and cold. She snatched the phone, her voice uncharacteristically icy. Give the phone to Gu Xingcheng. A brief 2-second silence ensued. Su Qingyue chuckled softly. What did you say? Yang Yuting enunciated each word. Give the phone to Gu Xingcheng. But in the next second, Su Qingyue decisively hung up. In the VIP room, no one dared to breathe loudly, lowering their heads one by one. Yang Yuting's eyes were unusually cold. Gu Xingcheng blocked her. Turning around, he was already so intimate with another woman. Song Xinyue held the phone, her mind racing. It sounded so noisy on the phone, they must be outside. How about I ask around to see what those two are doing? Yang Yuting forced a word through her teeth. Go. 5 minutes later, Song Xinyue was extremely shocked. Damn, I found out. They went to that newly built amusement park. Sensing Yang Yuting's mood was at its worst, Song Xinyue rolled her eyes and immediately spoke up. I think this Gu Xingcheng is doing it on purpose, deliberately putting on an I don't care act. Besides, tomorrow is your actual birthday. He definitely won't be able to resist coming to give you a gift. Yang Yuting lowered her eyes. An inexplicable panic rose in her heart, as if she had invisibly lost her most precious thing. No, what was she panicking for? The one being loved has nothing to fear. Gu Xingcheng was just sulking naturally, deliberately finding his childhood friend to put on a show. Trying to test her? Yang Yuting regained her composure, expressionless, her tone certain. He will regret it. Everyone giggled, continuing to sing and play along, ha ha, for sure. He'll be regretting it so much his guts turned green. Song Xinyue snuck off to the restroom halfway through, laughing coldly. She couldn't help but feel contempt deep down. She knew well. Yang Yuting doing this would only push Gu Xingcheng further away. This iceberg relies on her good family background. Who is she showing that cold face to all day? She admitted Yang Yuting was very capable in all aspects, but when it comes to love, she's as dumb as a pig. It's like she has an emotional disability, always demanding others to chase, pamper, and coax her. Isn't that just being cheap? Song Xinyue sneered. On the other side, after I finished using the restroom, I saw a balloon stall nearby. Su Qingyue had been staring at it, intentionally or not, since we entered the park, so I went over and bought one. After returning to Su Qingyue's side, I handed her the sparkling star balloon. Su Qingyue stood there stunned. Is this for me? I nodded, gently pulling her hand and tying the string of the beautiful balloon to it. I pointed at the kids playing with balloons nearby and half-jokingly said, "Look, all the kids are playing like that." Su Qingyue blinked in a daze, retorting softly, "But I'm not a kid anymore." She shook her wrist. The balloon bobbed up and down with her movements. The tiny glittering items inside reflected fragmented light. At this moment, Su Qingyue looked at me, mentioning casually, "Oh right, Yang Yuting and the others called you just now." After speaking, her clear eyes stared at me. I scratched my head calmly. I don't know what they want with me, but it's probably nothing good. Besides, I don't want to get entangled endlessly. I took the phone and blocked that number without hesitation, without any emotional fluctuation, watching my series of reactions. Su Qingyue couldn't help curling her lips. Let's go home. When we got off the bus, the sky was gradually darkening. There was still some distance to the school. Seeing Su Qingyue look a bit tired, I couldn't help but say, "Let me carry you." Su Qingyue looked straight at me. She shook her head instinctively. "No need, just walking. Another 10 minutes or so and we'll be there." But I suddenly squatted down in front of her, with a bit of a sulky attitude. Su Qingyue couldn't resist. She curled her lips, bent down to poke my forehead, smiling gently. "Hurry up then." I squatted there, looking up at her, my tone straightforward. "Then let me carry you." Su Qingyue was stunned, feeling like this was an illusion. I seemed to think of something, raising my eyebrows slightly. "Before, you used to ride on my back every day. Or do you want to try a princess carry? A princess carry?" Su Qingyue recalled the path out of the haunted house. She couldn't help her ears heating up, her legs going soft. Finally, she gave in a little, accepting, "Then carry me." Thinking it over, I used to be her exclusive mount back in the day. What's there to be shy about? After Su Qingyue thought it through, she took a deep breath, lay on my back, and reached out to hug my neck. Her body pressed against mine, stiff. I stood up and tested the weight. "You're too light, way too light," through 2 thin layers of clothing. Su Qingyue could even feel my heat, my body temperature spreading bit by bit to every inch of her skin. Truly too hot, too hot. Su Qingyue's heart was also scorched a little. The surrounding temperature seemed to change too, 2 breaths intertwining, hard to separate. Especially with each step, we pressed closer, as if countless feathers were tickling, making one numb. Su Qingyue pressed against my broad, solid back. In a daze, she couldn't help whispering in my ear, "You're so hard." I stopped abruptly, even doubting if I heard wrong. "What did you say?" She didn't realize anything was wrong, repeating in my ear with a sweet voice, "Your back is so stiff, it's not comfortable to hug at all." I carried her forward, my tone laden with meaning, drawling lazily, clearly saying nothing, but seemingly saying everything. Su Qingyue's breath hitched for 2 seconds. Her cheeks were instantly tinged with a faint blush. My throat was uncomfortably constricted, my Adam's apple bobbing up and down. I couldn't help reminding her, "Su Qingyue, are you trying to strangle me to death?" The girl on my back finally realized, slowly loosening her grip, her voice warm. "Sorry." A fragrant softness pressed against my back, a more intimate posture than ever. I pursed my lips tight, knowing clearly that dirty thoughts shouldn't be had, so I tried my best to ignore the sensation on my back, but the more one tries to ignore something, the more clearly they feel it. So soft. I walked faster and faster, my head filled with soft clouds. Su Qingyue lay on me. Her gaze accidentally fell on the boy's slightly red ear. As if discovering something strange, her eyes lit up. She couldn't resist reaching out her index finger to gently touch the base of my ear. The moment her fingertip touched the base of my ear, it was like a strong electric current was triggered, shocking me so much I almost jumped. I suppressed the impulse, warning in a low voice, "What are you doing? Don't touch." Though it was a warning, it actually wasn't fierce at all. Su Qingyue nodded obediently, staring at the nape of my neck. Speaking gently and seriously, "Gu Xingcheng, your ears are so red, especially after my finger touched it." I kept a straight face, lying with a straight face. "It's genetic." Su Qingyue hesitated, her tone sounding regretful. "Oh." With red ears, I quickly carried her to the school gate, gently putting her down and supporting her. But the balloon tied to her wrist was really too conspicuous, sparkling and glittering. On the way, quite a few classmates turned their heads to look at us, mistaking us for a couple showing off PDA. Returning to the dorm late at night, I was really tired. As soon as I sat down, my phone rang unexpectedly. Another unknown number. I pressed answer. Unexpectedly, the other side was silent. I asked politely, "May I ask who this is?" The voice on the other end was a bit hurried. "Gu Xingcheng, We are at Dijue VIP room. Number 18, hearing Song Xinyue's voice. I didn't wait for her to finish before hanging up without hesitation. Smooth operation blocked immediately. Then I charged my phone and went to shower. On the other end of the line, in the most luxurious VIP room, it was freezing cold. Song Xinyue looked at Yang Yuting, whose face was as cold as frost. Softening her anger, Gu Xingcheng isn't coming. It's his loss. Does he think we can't live without him? The person next to her added. He really thinks he's so important. Yang Yuting's voice was extremely cold. Get out. All of you, get out. A glass was smashed onto the floor, producing a piercing sound. The entire VIP room instantly fell silent. Yang Yuting was a rich young lady, an existence praised by everyone, no matter when. She always kept a cool and calm composure, maintaining a perfect, flawless state. Only today did she lose her temper in front of everyone. Everyone tactfully dispersed, leaving only Yang Yuting alone in the VIP room. She opened the chat history, quickly finding last year's birthday. That photo was a birthday wish Gu Xingcheng wrote with a fountain pen. But when she opened it, the system notified her the photo had expired. She stared blankly at the notification. A strange emotion rose in her heart. She murmured softly, expired. 10 minutes passed slowly. It was past 12 a.m. Yang Yuting checked her phone, looking at a flurry of birthday wishes in her inbox, only unable to find a message from that person. She suddenly put the phone down, hugging her knees with both hands. Curling up, sitting on the floor, a feeling of emptiness welled up inside her. Her eternally cold voice rippled with emotion. Why do I feel this way? I should be used to it by now. Used to birthdays from childhood lacking parents. Used to being just a tool for family benefit. An emotionless tool for a marriage alliance. Used to the fake flattery of friends. Now I seem to have lost the only genuine affection. Yang Yuting hugged her knees tighter. He won't come back. He's been stolen by his childhood friend. Speaking of childhood friends. Yang Yuting suddenly put down her phone and stood up, looking at her slightly disheveled self in the mirror, quickly adjusting her emotions and regaining her composure. What is there to care about? It's clear that he can't leave me. It is Gu Xingcheng who cannot live without me. He will return. The next day, Monday, was Yang Yuting's birthday. University classes usually don't have assigned seats, but the first 3 periods of stock investment required sitting by ID number. Many people had asked on the school confession wall about Yang Yuting's specific seat. At this moment, on the desk, a pile of love letters and gifts left no space. Even the floor was full of fresh flowers, extremely extravagant. Female classmates all showed envy. Campus belle Yang, truly worthy of being the high mountain flower of Jin University. But Yang Yuting walked to the desk with an emotionless face, opening each beautifully wrapped gift. When seeing the sender's name, she frowned slightly. No, none of them were him, none of his cards or scarves. Yang Yuting's face suddenly turned ice cold. Looking at Song Xinyue beside her, her voice lowered. Return all these things, just like before. Reject them all. Song Xinyue fawningly stepped forward to clear the things, rummaging everywhere but not seeing my gift. What the hell? Can he really hold out this long? Song Xinyue looked up while cleaning and asked, what about these gifts with no names? Yang Yuting's voice was calm. Throw them away. The girl next to her, surrounding her, craning her neck to look towards the desk. Her tone was slightly surprised. I clearly saw Gu Xingcheng buying a scarf earlier. Could it be that it wasn't a gift for Sister Yuting? Not realizing anything was wrong, she continued. That's right. I remember the birthday gift Gu Xingcheng gave last year was a watch. Hilarious, it was the type that cost 800 or 900 yuan. I can't believe he even had the nerve to give a watch like that. The next second, she felt the surrounding temperature drop significantly. It became freezing in an instant. In Yang Yuting's pale pupils, there were traces of bloodshot veins. Her face darkened visibly. She just stared at her like that, staring until it gave people goosebumps. The girl hurriedly lowered her head. Until the stock investment class ended, students began packing their things one by one. A handsome male classmate took a deep breath. He mustered all his courage to step forward, blushing as he confessed. Yang Yuting, I like. But before the confession was finished, Yang Yuting, with a cold face as frosty as mist, had already walked away. Her mood was extremely bad. She seemed unwilling to stay for even a second longer. That boy was instantly heartbroken. Song Xinyue hurriedly chased after her, following her footsteps. Sister Yuting, where are we going? This direction isn't towards the cafeteria. Besides, looking at her expression, it seemed like she was going to interrogate someone. In the empty classroom, I sat in the self-study area, preparing for the student English competition. Classmates from the same major had already left the room. It was just me, very quiet, after finishing a practice test set. Since no one was around, I leisurely walked downstairs, wondering what to eat for lunch today. At the corner, several dark shadows suddenly descended, like covering dark clouds, suddenly closing in. I had a bad feeling. Yang Yuting and 3 or 4 people beside her stepped towards me. A cold chill rose throughout my body. She's always like this. Regardless of this life or the past life, she always acts so high and mighty, refusing to say anything, waiting for everyone to chase and coax her before she shows a pleasant face. Clearly, I don't like her anymore. yet she keeps appearing in front of me. As I passed by, I calmly looked straight at her. My voice had no ripples, neither humble nor arrogant, saying, "Move. I absolutely won't repeat the same mistakes. I won't be as servile as in my past life, chasing her in the past life, for a full 7 years. The full 2 years in this life were just a joke." Yet Yang Yuting didn't budge at all. Her sharp eyes stared at me. The two of us just stood in a standoff, standing still on the spot. No one said anything. Song Xinyue beside her couldn't help but speak up, her tone arrogant and disdainful. "Gu Xingcheng, why did you block us? You don't even answer calls. What's the meaning of this?" I spoke calmly. "I already told you. I have nothing to do with you people anymore." Yang Yuting took a step forward, the distance suddenly closing. Almost pressed against each other, she looked at me in disbelief. "Who did you say you have no relationship with?" I couldn't be bothered with her. Turning to leave, the next second my wrist was suddenly grabbed. Yang Yuting is a germaphobe and always hated physical contact. In the past life, every time we held hands, I was the one initiating. She never initiated contact. Now she was taking the initiative to hold my hand. Yang Yuting took a deep breath, almost squeezing each word out through her teeth. "Gu Xingcheng, stop making trouble for no reason." In the very next moment, a figure suddenly rushed over, forcefully swatting Yang Yuting's hand away. Su Qingyue glared at Yang Yuting angrily. "Stay away from him." Su Qingyue pursed her lips, clutching my sleeve tightly. Yang Yuting glanced at Su Qingyue. She turned around and left. I looked at Su Qingyue and asked softly, "Why are you here?" Su Qingyue looked at me and said, "A classmate just said Yang Yuting was coming to find you." So I rushed over. After speaking, she linked her arm with mine. "Come eat with me." Staircase. Yang Yuting stood silently in place. Her face looked terrible. Song Xinyue beside her spoke up. "Gu Xingcheng is just sulking, right? He wants to deliberately provoke us. Someone who chased Sister Yuting for so many years. How could he just leave like that?" Hearing this, Yang Yuting's face gradually calmed down. Expressionless, she walked down the stairs. "Right, he's just deliberately sulking." After speaking, Yang Yuting thought of the words I said before. Gu Xingcheng doesn't like Su Qingyue. They can't be together. He said it himself. He only sees Su Qingyue as a sister he grew up with. He also said he only likes her. He also said in the future, he would only like Yang Yuting alone. So there's basically no need to chase him. Wait for Gu Xingcheng to calm down and think it through. He will definitely return to her side. Luxury villa. Yang Yuting likes living alone and didn't want to stay in the dorms, so she bought a villa right next to the school. A whole day passed. Her face cold as ice, she ordered all the maids to leave. The maids bowed and left one by one. They could clearly feel that the young Miss's mood today was particularly terrible. Extremely terrible. It was strange. Normally the young Miss never showed her emotions. Besides, today is clearly her birthday. In the room, Yang Yuting's fists slowly clenched. In her mind, she unconsciously recalled the scene of Gu Xingcheng being held by another woman. He is definitely doing this on purpose. Going to eat with his good childhood sweetheart Su Qingyue. Going to the amusement park together. I don't care at all. Thinking this, she calmly opened her backpack. Yet the next second, she found herself freezing, standing straight, frozen on the spot. In the backpack was a light brown scarf. The fabric was very soft and comfortable, like a warm ray of spring sunshine, slowly covering a glacier, melting the ice and snow. Although there was no signature or greeting card, Yang Yuting was absolutely certain it was from Gu Xingcheng. After Song Xinyue found out, she revealed an as-expected expression. She smiled gently. As expected, he couldn't hold back. Didn't he still eagerly run over to give a gift? This is the legendary playing hard to get. Yang Yuting didn't say anything. Her heart, which had been in suspense, finally settled down. That's right. Gu Xingcheng likes me so much. How could he not give me a birthday gift? Early next morning. Late autumn, there was suddenly heavy rain last night, causing the temperature to drop suddenly. Students changed into thick clothes one after another. Yang Yuting rarely wore a scarf. It immediately fluttered the hearts of many girls. She already had an exquisite, flawless appearance, cold and aloof with pale skin. After putting on the light brown scarf, she looked even more noble. Someone had already posted photos on the forum. Oh my god, how does this person look so good even wearing a scarf? Is this the first time Goddess Yang wore a scarf to school? As expected, a beauty looks good even wearing a sack. At this moment, a boy stood there rubbing his eyes, staring at his phone screen in disbelief. The boy beside him was shocked. Holy crap, isn't that the scarf you gave Yang Yuting before? The boy nodded. Yeah, I think I forgot to sign it back then. A 9.9 yuan free shipping item. I just casually stuffed it in. I thought it would definitely be thrown away. Maybe rich people are used to exquisite luxury goods and wanted to try some rough, cheap goods at the same time. The girls surrounding Yang Yuting all had their pupils trembling, revealing looks of disbelief one by one, standing there in shock. They completely didn't expect it, that Yang Yuting would actually wear the scarf gifted by Gu Xingcheng.
Is she crazy? This looks like unbearable fake goods at a glance. It's a 9.9 yuan free shipping item, right? Giving it to them as a rag would even be rejected, okay? They had countless questions, but when facing Yang Yuting's cold gaze, they immediately shut their mouths, not daring to ask another word. Song Xinyue silently clenched her hand, while absent-mindedly glancing at a familiar figure outside the door. Her eyes suddenly flashed, suddenly speaking up, raising her voice loudly. Hi! Hi, Sister Yuting! The scarf Gu Xingcheng gave you is actually quite nice. Don't know how much thought he put into it, especially giving it on your birthday to please you. Yang Yuting coldly raised her eyelids, seeming to hear the words she wanted to hear. Only then did she calmly respond. Just as the words fell, outside the restroom, Su Qingyue's footsteps paused. Her whole body suddenly froze. Su Qingyue stood there, silent and speechless. She clenched her fingers tightly, wanting to suppress the bitterness constantly surging in her chest, but she still couldn't do it. The rain outside the window suddenly grew heavier. The entire school was submerged in a thick curtain of rain. Rainwater splashed, cold droplets falling into her heart. Su Qingyue didn't lack knowledge of Gu Xingcheng. He only saw her as a sister he grew up with. She wasn't unaware of Gu Xingcheng, of how much he liked Yang Yuting in the past. Before, Gu Xingcheng would always rest his chin on his hand and steal glances at Yang Yuting. He would proactively tutor Yang Yuting in math. He would give Yang Yuting all kinds of gifts. He would follow Yang Yuting like a shadow, eyes full of joy, heart full of expectation. She knew all these things, knew them clearly. But what's the use of knowing? She had no right to ask, even less right to be jealous. Su Qingyue swallowed twice. Looking down with lonely eyes, she lifted her feet to leave. Recalling that rainy day before, the words I said, I don't like Yang Yuting anymore. That scene. Thinking of this. Su Qingyue closed her eyes and took a deep breath, gradually calming down. With his personality, he absolutely wouldn't give things to Yang Yuting anymore. There must be some misunderstanding here. She would subtly ask to clarify. Because she understood him, so she trusted him. Outside the window, rain fell pitter-patter, weaving a hazy mist of rain. Even the air became damp.
My third period in the afternoon was a school-wide elective, special topic research and analysis in international finance. This subject was scheduled for the next semester. Today was the first class, back when school just started. I fought to get into the same class as Yang Yuting. I silently sighed and arrived at the classroom on time. The large 100-person lecture hall was almost full. Yang Yuting and her group sat in the first row, deliberately leaving an empty seat. The moment I walked through the door, their eyes all focused on me. Yang Yuting calmly raised her eyelids, trying to see some expression on my face, but there was nothing. I didn't even glance at her, calmly sitting down in the corner of the last row, excessively quiet, like I didn't care anymore. Yang Yuting's gaze instantly froze. Her heart suddenly felt empty. The elective was very easy. Most people were playing on their phones. The classmate next to me played Fight the Landlord for the whole period. During the break, the teacher picked up a water cup, leisurely taking a sip, standing on the podium and speaking. Finals will be graded based on an essay. Specific requirements are posted on the learning system, 2 people per group. Form your own groups, and after confirming, fill in the form. Just as the words fell, many male students looked towards Yang Yuting like hungry tigers. The bold ones had already made their move, politely asking if she had a partner yet. Yang Yuting, expressionless, didn't even lift her head. A single word, yes, gave them the answer. The boys left regretfully one after another. Several minutes passed. The air around Yang Yuting grew colder and colder. It felt like it was about to freeze people to death. Song Xinyue gritted her teeth. Don't worry, Gu Xingcheng will definitely come to find you to group up later. Hearing this, Yang Yuting's expression finally improved a bit, but waiting for a long time, there was no sign of me. Yang Yuting's patience was gradually running out. When she saw me smiling and asking the classmate next to me, Yang Yuting absolutely couldn't sit still anymore. Suddenly standing up, I was talking to a classmate from the medical department. The next second, a tall figure gradually loomed larger, cold as vast white snow, stepping closer. I had a bad feeling for some reason. Slightly raising my head, Yang Yuting had stopped by my desk, very close, extremely close. A chilling cold breath immediately enveloped me. Under everyone's gaze, her pale glass-like eyes stared at me seriously. Silent on the spot, not saying a word. What did she mean? It was understood without speaking. Students craned their necks one by one. The gossip immediately exploded. Yang Yuting was the most famous figure in the school. No one didn't know this beauty from a wealthy family, and the fact that I liked Yang Yuting was also something almost everyone in school knew. Since the start of school, I followed Yang Yuting every day, like a stalker. The number of people who liked Yang Yuting was countless. But what kind of person is Yang Yuting? She's the moon in the sky, the daughter of a super-rich family, an existence that ordinary people could never reach in their lifetime. But this time, it was Yang Yuting proactively seeking Gu Xingcheng to group up. How is that possible? Yang Yuting stood in front of me. Her expression was faint. Those beautiful peach blossom eyes revealed a hint of unknown emotion. She reached out and deliberately adjusted the light brown scarf on her neck. Word by word, group up with me. Hearing this, I leaned back slightly. With no ripples in my eyes, without hesitation, I shook my head, softly refusing. Don't want to. My voice was very soft and also very calm, but every word clearly reached everyone's ears. He actually doesn't want to. How is that possible? Everyone was stunned on the spot, wishing they could get closer to us to frantically get the tea. Oh my goodness, this is way too juicy. Just as the words fell, Yang Yuting suddenly stepped closer. Her aloof expression suddenly cracked, her face darkened, like hearing the biggest joke in the world, her voice getting colder and colder.
What did you say? Expression unchanged, I widened the distance, seriously repeating word by word, don't want to. After speaking, I immediately looked away, not looking at Yang Yuting's face anymore. The classmate next to me had a face full of shock. The next second, the air suddenly felt frozen, only to see Yang Yuting standing stiffly on the spot, her whole face almost cracking, darkened so much it could almost drip ink. People around stared wide-eyed in shock. Gu Xingcheng rejected Yang Yuting and said it straight to her face twice. That's just too awesome. The class bell rang. Yang Yuting laughed coldly, noble and composed, exuding oppressive pressure. Before leaving, she dropped a sentence. Gu Xingcheng, my patience has limits. She returned to her seat with a dark face, cold as ice. Yang Yuting's friends looked at each other, all seeing deep shock in each other's eyes. The person who followed Yang Yuting every day actually rejected Yang Yuting. How is that possible? He clearly likes Yang Yuting so much, even studied hard for Yang Yuting's sake. To get into Jing University, isn't he afraid of playing too hard? Yang Yuting sat in her chair, half her face hidden in shadow. Her face grew darker and colder, like a stormy winter blizzard, making people shiver without being cold. At this moment, a girl next to her said carefully, Sister Yuting, don't be angry yet. Yang Yuting stared at her coldly, revealing a strong warning in her eyes. The girl broke out in a sweat. Okay, you're not angry. I'm the one angry. I'm angry. A moment later, facing Yang Yuting's suspicious gaze, the girl scratched her head and continued, it's just that. Using such a cold tone to order him to group up, he would definitely resist. Hearing this, Yang Yuting fell into thought, her eyes revealing some wavering and struggle, but a moment later she still clung to her opinion. Cold eyes, cold and certain tone. He likes me. He will definitely come back. It was that light brown scarf that gave her enough confidence. In Gu Xingcheng's heart and eyes, there was only her. Otherwise, he wouldn't have secretly stuffed the scarf into her bag. Gu Xingcheng cares about me, cares about my birthday. He just wants me to lower myself. Thinking this, Yang Yuting became even more certain of her guess. The girl beside her twitched her mouth slightly, feeling like she was playing the lute to a cow just now. Even the girls who initially bet that Gu Xingcheng would return were gradually wavering. Isn't Yang Yuting being too confident? Moreover, they always felt that Yang Yuting's confidence and calmness seemed like it could collapse completely at any moment. Female dorm 307. Chen Shishi skipped around holding her phone, happily sidling up to Su Qingyue, trying to act mysterious. I just got a massive scoop from the school forum. Do you want the tea? Saying that, she happily stuffed a handful of tomato-flavored chips into her mouth. Looking smug, Su Qingyue never cared much about the forum and was too lazy to gossip, but Chen Shishi's words attracted the other two girls in the room, begging her to spill it quickly. But Chen Shishi grinned slyly and leaned closer again, whispering into Su Qingyue's ear, really not interested? It seems to be related to Gu Xingcheng. The next second, Su Qingyue suddenly turned her head. Her laziness instantly vanished into thin air, suddenly raising her head, looking at Chen Shishi, face serious. Tell me now, reacting extremely fast, as if equipped with a radar, just hearing the name Gu Xingcheng. Alarm bells immediately rang. Chen Shishi pretended to be surprised. What's wrong? Didn't you say you didn't want to gossip? Mention Gu Xingcheng and someone gets impatient and loses their cool. Su Qingyue gritted her teeth. Dinner is on me. Deal. Chen Shishi finally turned back, recounting vividly. Just now, there was a finance elective. Gu Xingcheng and Yang Yuting both took it. The teacher assigned a final essay. Groups of two, freely formed. The result was totally unexpected. Yang Yuting actually walked over and invited Gu Xingcheng in front of everyone, just as she finished speaking. Su Qingyue's eyes darkened. Her heart felt like it was being squeezed. A strong, nameless emotion surged in her chest. Even breathing became difficult. Then what? Su Qingyue's voice was calm, but if you listened closely, you could feel a slight tremor, completely different from her usual casual and lazy demeanor. Chen Shishi didn't notice, continuing to ramble on, storytelling vividly. But this time, Gu Xingcheng flat-out rejected her. Twice. Heard Yang Yuting's face was so dark afterwards it could drip ink. Every word Chen Shishi said clearly fell into her ears. Su Qingyue closed her eyes, slowly exhaling a breath. Releasing the tension, she leaned back against the chair. The heavy stone hanging in her heart finally dropped. The words that followed, Su Qingyue didn't listen to her roommate's noisy chatter anymore, fading away in her ears, as if separating into two worlds from her. She lowered her eyes slightly, taking out the diary from the drawer that had been with her for many years. Turning to the first page, the paper was slightly yellowed. That line of text had also faded a bit, but the handwriting was neat and delicate. I am waiting for the stars to tremble. The next second, a ding sound. Her phone received a WeChat message from Gu Xingcheng. Su Qingyue finished reading the message, quickly put the diary away, and hurriedly ran out of the dorm. Chen Shishi was stunned, shouting, Qingyue, where are you rushing off to? The rain was getting heavier. Outside the window was a blur. Through the glass, one could still clearly hear the pouring rain, heavy and powerful. After I sent the message to Su Qingyue, my mood finally improved a little. When I heard that sentence from Yang Yuting, my patience has limits. I just felt baffled.
I really wanted to crack her brain open and ask if she was okay. I sat quietly in my seat. It seemed some things should be made clear, to avoid endless entanglement. The bell for the end of the fourth period rang. I exchanged WeChat with the unfamiliar classmate next to me, filling in student ID, class, and name on the form. Classmates headed towards the cafeteria and dorms one by one. The classroom instantly became empty. Even Song Xinyue and the others were sent away by Yang Yuting. Only the two of us remained. I slowly packed my backpack. Yang Yuting slowly walked towards me, her face cold and aloof, staring at me, as if waiting for a reasonable explanation. I zipped up my backpack. "What's up?" Yang Yuting looked at me and spoke. "You and Su Qingyue are fake, right?" Hearing this, I calmly looked up. "So what? Does it concern you?" Hearing this, Yang Yuting's face turned ice cold. Her eyes were immediately covered in a layer of frost. As if hearing a joke, she spoke righteously and boldly. Voice slightly low, "Doesn't concern me?" I nodded decisively. "That's right, Yang Yuting. I don't like you anymore," I stated calmly, without a single ripple in my eyes. I even felt like I was liberated from the deep sea. The obsession of so many years that I wanted to let go actually wasn't that hard. My day-to-day persistence, my passionate love year after year. How could Yang Yuting not know I liked her? She always enjoyed the process of being chased by me. She would decisively reject others' pursuit, but she never rejected me. Precisely because of this uniqueness, I was once passionate too. But the memories of the past life were like a basin of bone-chilling ice water, poured over me from head to toe, truly freezing my heart, just as I finished. Yang Yuting suddenly froze. Her breath stopped, finding it hard to understand this sentence, even doubting her ears a little. Not like anymore. Her chest immediately surged with an indescribable feeling, permeating densely, churning violently, like something was blocking it. Even her breathing temporarily stagnated. It was an emotion she had never felt. A few seconds later, Yang Yuting quickly regained her composure, restoring her calm and composure. "Impossible. If you don't like me, why did you deliberately give me a scarf on my birthday?" Yang Yuting's cold eyes darkened. Tone confident and certain. "You're lying to me. You clearly said you only liked me, would always like me. You're definitely lying to me, but I didn't look like I was lying at all." I looked up at her, tone serious. "I'm not lying to you." Pausing a bit, I added, "In fact, I feel a bit disgusted by you now." "Disgusted by Yang Yuting?" Thin lips pressed tight. Her face became colder and uglier. These words were like a sharp blade, stabbing deep into the weakest part of her heart, slowly bleeding countless drops of fresh blood. With a dark face, she stepped closer to me. The next second, my eyes suddenly lit up with joy. I walked towards the classroom door, steps light. "You're finally here." Yang Yuting stiffly turned her head. Su Qingyue smiled and waved at me, saying, "Let's go." The scene before her deeply stimulated Yang Yuting's eyes. Violent emotions surged in her mind. For a long while, Yang Yuting laughed coldly. Tone extremely calm, she softly called my name. Gu Xingcheng. Actually, she rarely called my name, but before, she only needed to speak, only needed to hook her finger. Sometimes just a glance was enough. I would immediately appear by her side, my eyes full of stars of hope, seeming like they would never disappear. But as soon as she spoke, I walked faster. Yang Yuting's cold, composed expression shattered in that instant, steps heavy as if filled with cold lead. She dazedly watched the scene before her. Her heart felt like a piece was missing, deeply impacting the beliefs she held since childhood. Su Qingyue approached me, reaching out to hold my hand. We left without looking back, watching our backs leaving side by side. Yang Yuting never thought her emotions could fluctuate so greatly. She shouted at us, "Gu Xingcheng, if you dare leave with her, then don't ever come back." Yang Yuting's tone carried certainty and confidence. In high school, she once blurted out a sentence. "You and that Su Qingyue seem pretty close, huh?" The next day, I started distancing myself from Su Qingyue, afraid she would misunderstand. But now, I remained by Su Qingyue's side, as if I heard nothing, walking to the top of the stairs, the figures growing smaller and smaller, seeming to have truly made up his mind about something. Standing in place, Yang Yuting's expression suddenly changed. She raised her voice, "Gu Xingcheng, get over here." She wanted to restrain herself as usual, but her exquisite face couldn't help but become ferocious. The rain outside the window grew heavier. My figure also completely disappeared into the rain. Yang Yuting took a step back and slowly closed her eyes. I don't know how much time passed before she opened her eyes. Returning to her original calm demeanor, she brainwashed herself over and over again. She became increasingly convinced that I was doing this just to provoke her, that I deliberately put on this show in front of her. The sky was gloomy. Accompanied by the sound of falling rain, I looked down at Su Qingyue and asked softly, "What did you need me for?" In the rain, Su Qingyue held an umbrella. She shoved the bag she was carrying into my arms. "Here to give you something." I looked down inside the bag. My eyes were filled with both surprise and joy. "How did you know I wanted this? There's even my favorite coffee and the gaming console that's been super hot lately. This console is really hard to buy." I blinked. "Thanks. But why did you suddenly give me these things?" Su Qingyue seemed to have anticipated I would ask that. Her voice was lazy. "Won them in a lucky draw." "Won them, but I'm a girl, so I don't know how to play." She paused for a moment, turning her head to look at the school building not far away. She pretended to be nonchalant. She asked softly, "The scarf you gave me, I quite like it. Did you give one to anyone else?" I tilted my head to look at her. Around her neck was the white scarf I had given her. It suited her aura perfectly. I nodded. I said honestly, I did. I knitted one for my roommate to practice my hand. Su Qingyue remained silent. A few seconds later, her voice became slightly cold. Did you give one to any other girl? I didn't expect her to ask this. I shook my head with a sincere face. No, other than you. As soon as the words fell, stars slowly lit up in Su Qingyue's eyes. Her gaze also became gentle. I asked with a face full of doubt, what's wrong? Su Qingyue held the umbrella with one hand and gripped the handle with the other. Her tone was indifferent. Nothing. Just asking casually. She pretended nothing was wrong and lowered her head. But the corners of her mouth seemed unable to stop curving up. Harder to control than an AK. Su Qingyue had to bury the lower half of her face into the scarf, secretly hiding her emotions that couldn't be disguised. For dinner, the two of them went out to eat, sharing an orange juice. The owner brought out the piping hot food. Su Qingyue handed me chopsticks and a spoon. She had taken off her scarf while eating. Not long after, she suddenly spoke. Do you want to go to a hot spring? The sudden question rang out. I was a bit dazed, even doubting my own ears. I nearly choked to death on the orange juice. A few days ago, I was browsing some blogger videos. I blurted out that I wanted to go to a hot spring. I really did want to experience it. But going with Su Qingyue, my face instantly turned beet red. I even forgot to chew my rice. Wouldn't I see her wearing a swimsuit? I recalled some images of her from my past life and felt a bit guilty. Seeing that I wasn't reacting, complex emotions appeared in Su Qingyue's eyes. She put down her chopsticks and stared at me seriously. You don't want to go? I snapped back to reality and strategically lowered my head to drink orange juice. Is it a team-building activity? But the next second, Su Qingyue softly spoke a few words. That gently echoed in my ears. No one else. Just me and you. In the dorm room. Li Yu, who was dying of boredom, suddenly shot up and screamed. What? Su Qingyue invited you to a hot spring alone? She wants to date you, doesn't she? I silently spread my blanket and put the game console under my pillow. This doesn't count as a date. Li Yu spoke boldly and righteously. Isn't that how it always goes in TV dramas? When the male and female leads go on a hot spring date, pink heart bubbles float everywhere around them, and the two of them naturally fall for each other. I didn't dare to think about it and pulled my bed curtains shut, silently covering myself with the blanket for a while. Gucci was more serious. I recall that newly opened hot spring resort has quite a few good reviews. There's even a buffet. Anyway, my friends went and said it was good, so, did you agree? Lights out at 11 p.m. I stuck my head out from the bed. I agreed. Su Qingyue said it was a lucky draw activity from her racing team. She won 2 hot spring tickets, including a one-night hotel stay and buffet. Auntie Chin isn't free, so she asked me to go along. At that time, she even said lazily, if you don't go, then these prize tickets will just go to waste. My head was filled with images of her in a swimsuit. I heard these words in a daze, and Yi Cheng put down his tablet and said, so you were tricked into going while you were in a daze. His voice held a hint of worry. Why does it feel like you're being set up? Did she book 2 rooms? You're not going to do anything inhuman to her, are you? I yawned. 2 rooms, I added seriously. Su Qingyue grew up with me since childhood. The 3 roommates looked at each other, revealing meaningful smiles. Winter arrived quietly. The December weather gradually turned freezing cold. I waited and finally the day of the hot spring trip arrived. I couldn't suppress the excitement in my heart. The resort hotel was elegantly vintage. Steam curled up from the natural hot springs. There was a faint fragrance in the air. After finishing the buffet, we rested for a while before going to change. I wore a white bathrobe, exposing half my collarbone, looking incredibly stoic and abstinent. My whole being exuded a charming aura. After tidying up in front of the mirror, I lifted the curtain and immediately saw a graceful silhouette. The girl's skin was smooth and flawless, snow white to the point of being dazzling. Her slender legs carried an ultimate allure. She wore a pure white swimsuit, a lace-up design surrounded by a delicate layer of voile, like a fairy descending. Su Qingyue looked up slightly and saw me. Her beautiful eyes sparkled brilliantly, smiling gracefully. Less than 2 seconds later, Su Qingyue lowered her eyes and looked away. Her fingers clenched unnaturally. I walked up to her. Slightly curling my lips, we walked together to the hot spring pool. I slowly took off my white bathrobe. Complex emotions welled up in Su Qingyue's eyes, as if she was about to see a different scenery. Her lips slowly curved up. I revealed my smooth, firm muscle lines. My V-line looked even more superior and sexy. Broad shoulders and a slim waist, a rush of masculine aura. Su Qingyue's breath hitched for a moment. She couldn't help but count silently in her heart. Really has 6 packs. Her gaze moved downwards again, and saw my black swimming trunks. A few seconds later, she abruptly lowered her head and looked away, the tips of her ears flushing red. Then Su Qingyue lifted her jade-white feet and slowly stepped into the hot spring. Water droplets rolled from her collarbone down her chest, a beautiful scene. I couldn't control myself and took a couple more looks at Su Qingyue. She leisurely leaned against the pool edge, her meaning unclear. Gu Xingcheng, come here. When she softly called my name, her eyes became even more seductive, like a silent temptation. I patted my face, trying to sober up. I walked step by step toward the hot spring pool, staying very far away from her. She was kind enough to bring me to the hot spring. Yet my head was full of her body, really inappropriate. I took a deep breath. After getting into the water, the warm current enveloped me. Fatigue and anxiety melted away in the steaming hot spring. I narrowed my eyes comfortably and couldn't help but speak up, sighing, so comfortable. I looked up at her. Our eyes unexpectedly met. In that moment, it seemed like only the two of us were left in the world. A beautiful spark ignited. In the evening, romantic starlights lit up the surroundings. Golden light covered the water surface, ripples shimmering. The romantic atmosphere spurred the fluttering feeling bit by bit. I paused for a few seconds and unnaturally looked away, shifting to the side a little, getting further and further away from her. The water rippled in waves. Before I could take a few steps, Su Qingyue suddenly chuckled. Her eyelids twitched, lips curling up. "Why are you staying so far away from me? Afraid I'll eat you?" My thoughts were exposed, feeling a bit guilty. I didn't dare to look up at her. After a long while, I nodded. Men and women shouldn't touch. I have to stay away from her a bit. Otherwise, I'm afraid I won't be able to stop myself from touching her. Hearing that, Su Qingyue's gaze turned cold. She lazily said one word, "Fine." Su Qingyue turned around, keeping her back to me. I didn't know what she was thinking. I don't know how much time passed. Suddenly, there was a splashing sound from behind. The girl used her index finger to gently poke my back. Her voice was as melodious as a lark. Gu Xingcheng. Hearing the sound, I looked up at her and hummed in response. I saw Su Qingyue's other hand placed on her right shoulder, holding two lace strings. A thin layer of mist rippled in her eyes. "The strap is loose. Help me." Her long, thick lashes slowly fluttered, her voice trembling slightly. I lowered my eyes, my gaze falling on her. The swimsuit had a design with two straps on the left and right, off-shoulder sleeves. If one of the bows came undone, it would almost reveal a large area. My Adam's apple bobbed up and down, a tidal wave hidden in my eyes. The white voile layer outside the swimsuit floated on the water, appearing and disappearing, making one's heart itch even more. Su Qingyue spoke softly again. "Hurry over and help me." After a long while, I finally moved, slowly walking behind her, grabbing the two white lace strings. A large expanse of snow-white skin appeared before my eyes, like flawless jade, deeply stimulating the eyeballs, making my fingertips tremble uncontrollably. Su Qingyue reminded softly, "Just tie a bow casually." I bent down slightly. "Okay, very gently." Under the moonlight, a man and a woman soaked in the hot spring, steam blurring the view. Su Qingyue kept feeling my hot breath against the back of her neck. Not knowing if it was due to the rising water temperature, my whole body slowly heated up. My heart also gradually became scorching hot, obviously just a matter of seconds, yet I felt like a century had passed. I pursed my lips. My heart felt like a little deer was running wild. I tied a perfect bow for Su Qingyue, without touching her even a little bit. Then I took a step back, suppressing the heat in my heart, my voice a bit hoarse. Done tying, Su Qingyue also heaved a sigh of relief, smiling at me, revealing two dimples. "Thanks." After finishing the hot spring bath, my whole body felt warm. My heart felt filled with a sweet sense of happiness. Near evening, I wrapped the thick bathrobe around me and went ashore. Went to the self-service counter nearby to get some sweets. Su Qingyue followed closely beside me. Whichever one I picked, Su Qingyue also took a piece to eat. Looking from a distance, the two were almost glued together, looking like an intimately inseparable young couple. This scene was captured by the eyes of some people not far away. A girl widened her eyes in surprise, hastily took out her phone, snapped a photo, and sent it to Yang Yuting. "Isn't this Gu Xingcheng and Su Qingyue?" They actually went to a hot spring alone together, under the expensive European-style chandelier in a luxurious villa. A pale white light enveloped the girl. She was working on a PPT with an emotionless face. A long while later, Yang Yuting scrolled through her phone, suddenly seeing a message on WeChat. In that moment, her actions abruptly stopped. She opened the photo in disbelief. The silhouette of a man and a woman struck her eyes. The atmosphere was harmonious and intimate. The girl's smiling eyes crinkled up, looking extremely sweet. The boy also curled his lips in a smile, looking at her in an ambiguous, dreamy way. Su Qingyue and I looked just like a couple in love. Yang Yuting slammed her phone onto the table. In an instant, her face turned cold as frost. A storm brewed on her face. Su Qingyue and I went to the amusement park together, went to KTV to celebrate a birthday, and even went to a hot spring alone with Su Qingyue. Yang Yuting's always cold and arrogant face suddenly showed fatigue. She had a moment of panic, feeling like she had invisibly lost something, the most precious thing. A long while later, she barely managed to suppress the bitterness in her heart. When Yang Yuting raised her head again, her eyes flashed with confidence and certainty. How could Xingcheng actually choose Su Qingyue? At the hot spring area, a thoughtful staff member brought over drinks. Very low alcohol content. The taste was very unique. The name was even more unique, called Heartbeat Signal. I took the bottle, said thanks, and took a big gulp. Sweet and sour taste mixed with a hint of alcohol, addictive from the first sip. In less than a few minutes, my head felt dizzy. My eyes gradually became dreamy, and my face turned red uncontrollably. I don't know why, but right now I suddenly really wanted to hug Su Qingyue's small waist and touch her long white legs. Just then, Su Qingyue seemed to realize I wasn't okay. She suddenly stood on tiptoe and leaned close to my face, bringing a faint fragrance. Her voice echoed numbingly in my ear. "What's wrong with you?" The girl was even more seductive than usual. I looked at the face magnifying before my eyes. Scared, I immediately took a step back, stammering, "I'm fine. I'm going to the restroom for a bit." I was dizzy and seeing stars. Stumbling to the restroom nearby, splashed cold water hard on my face. I exhaled gently, looked up at myself in the mirror, feeling like something wasn't right. Head was so dizzy. I took a deep breath and walked out of the restroom. The next second, a dark figure rushed out from the corner and smashed a broom handle hard onto my head. I immediately saw stars, falling limply to the ground. The alcohol content of that drink was definitely not low. Otherwise, I couldn't be this dizzy. The person spoke up. Gu Xingcheng. Only then did I see clearly. The person forcing me along. My eyes slowly widened. Song Xinyue. Why is it her? Song Xinyue's eyes glinted. She forcefully covered my mouth and leaned into my ear. Yang Yuting. She's a dead block of ice. What's so worth liking about her? Gu Xingcheng. Be my man. Marry me later. You won't even need to go to university. This young lady guarantees you a lifetime of wealth and glory. I was drunk out of my mind, my head empty. My whole body had no strength left. I knew very well I was extremely drunk. I bit my lip without hesitation. Following the smell of blood and spreading pain, I forced myself to sober up. Once the opponent let down her guard, I kicked her hard in the stomach. The move was clean and decisive. Then I quickly fled. I ran while shouting loudly, "Su!" Before I could finish, the next second, that familiar figure appeared before my eyes. Su Qingyue rushed over against the light. Even everything around seemed to make way for her. In that moment, I finally couldn't help but hug her tight. Speaking softly, "Su Qingyue, why is it such a coincidence? Always so coincidental. Whenever I'm in danger, she immediately appears in front of me." Su Qingyue's voice was full of concern. "I'm here. Be good. Wait for me a moment." I was dizzy and dazed, my eyes closed uncontrollably, only faintly hearing the sounds of fighting, immediately followed by Song Xinyue's wretched scream. It was hard for Su Qinyue to control her anger. She pressed Song Xinyue's head and slammed it hard against the wall, producing crisp thuds. Song Xinyue knelt miserably on the ground, her forehead almost bleeding from the impact, begging frantically for mercy. Su Qingyue was trying her best to suppress her emotions, finally closing her eyes and taking a deep breath. Daring to plot against him? Do you want to die? At the same time, a girl stood there stunned. Holding her phone, she sneakily slipped away from behind a tree. The girl exclaimed while sneaking away, sending the video she just recorded to Yang Yuting, especially those shocking statements. Yang Yuting, she's a dead block of ice, what's so worth liking about her? Doesn't Song Xinyue hate Gu Xingcheng the most? Turns out she secretly loves him. More importantly, she dared to scold Yuting. Is that poker-faced idiot crazy? The girl was so shocked she felt like she'd been struck by lightning. She was wondering why Song Xinyue was acting so strange today. Her eyes seemed glued to Gu Xingcheng, followed them to check it out, and was shocked to the core. 11:30 p.m. Pitch black night swallowed the sky. I had drunk high-alcohol liquor, drunk and drowsy. Waiting until I groggily opened my eyes, I discovered I was lying on a large, soft bed. The blanket was tucked in very tight, leaving no gaps. A moment later, a familiar voice gently poured into my ear, carrying a tender attachment. Awake? Su Qingyue brought a chair and sat by the bed, staring at me without blinking. Not knowing how long she had been by my side, I opened my eyes, also looking seriously at her face. I nodded. Su Qingyue also didn't say anything, quietly looking at me. The two of us just stared at each other like that. The whole room was filled with silence. I blinked, leaning in a bit closer, looking at her curiously. The woman in front of me looked a bit fierce, but she seemed to have some magic that drew me closer bit by bit. A long while later, I reached out and gently tugged at the fabric of her shirt, carefully opening my mouth to say, "Want a hug?" My words a bit unclear. The woman didn't react in time, freezing for a moment. I put on a serious face, thinking hard. "Can you hug me later?" This time Su Qingyue heard clearly. She pursed her lips and hugged me, her movements careful and gentle. I sat on the bed, burying my head in her chest. Her embrace was very warm, very comfortable. My breath was hot. It seemed to have become part of her body. I wrapped my arms around her waist, rubbing gently in her embrace, occasionally nuzzling my head against her, like a little animal being affectionate. Su Qingyue lowered her head, holding me in her arms. Gradually realizing the posture was too ambiguous, she slowly let go. Su Qingyue couldn't help but speak up. "Gu Xingcheng, do you know who I am?" I sat swaying on the big bed upon hearing that, my face full of dreaminess, lowering my hazy eyes, tilting my head without saying a word. Su Qingyue's gaze lingered on me for a long time. Finally, her eyes darkened. Sure enough, a drunk person basically wouldn't remember her. Suddenly, I clumsily tugged at her shirt. My tone a bit urgent, I know. A faint light flickered in Su Qingyue's eyes, gently holding my hand. "Then who am I?" Her eyelashes trembled like crow's wings, heart beating frantically out of control. Drunk me was a bit adorably foolish, slowly saying, "My wife." Su Qingyue's breath suddenly hitched, heart suddenly skipping a beat. A long while later, she finally heard her own voice amidst her pounding heartbeat. "What?" I was totally dazed, looking at her, looking a bit worried, asking weakly, "What's wrong? Are you not my wife?" Su Qingyue stared at the culprit in front of her. I looked disappointed. A while later, she slowly hummed, receiving an affirmative answer. I laughed happily and contentedly. Beautiful sparkling stars bloomed in my eyes. Wifey, my voice was gentle and affectionate, eyes full of expectation. Let me tell you a secret. Su Qingyue lowered her eyes, her voice unchanged. Go ahead. I shook my head twice, sadly unhappy. Come a bit closer. Well, whisper it. Don't let anyone else hear. There was clearly no one else in the room, but Su Qingyue still lowered her head and leaned close to my face. Immediately hearing me lower my voice, Su Qingyue, in our past life, we were together. We were husband and wife, the kind with a marriage certificate. Every single word made Su Qingyue's heart tremble. It took a long time to return to normal. After the surprise and joy, she lowered her head and smiled bitterly, feeling like she was just indulging in fantasy. Past life, present life, just talking nonsense. Su Qingyue sighed, but the corners of her lips unconsciously curved up. Even if it was just my dream, she was very happy. But not knowing what I thought of, my mood suddenly plummeted, clutching the blanket tight, my voice getting smaller. But after we got married, you were very mean, always demanding strictness from me. I complained discontentedly, as if suffering an earth-shattering injustice. Su Qingyue looked at my pitiful, aggrieved appearance. Her whole body suddenly stiffened. In her nightmarish childhood, her scum father would slap her at the slightest provocation, threatening her with a kitchen knife. The worst time, her leg was broken. Her mother was also covered in bloody wounds, even though that scum was dead. But the shadow that once loomed over Su Qingyue hadn't vanished. Su Qingyue closed her eyes and took a deep breath, bearing all the pain of the past deep down. She was silent for a long time before speaking slowly, her tone a bit serious. How could I possibly bully you? Seeing Su Qingyue refusing to admit it to death, I got even angrier, glaring at her, saying word by word, you clearly did. Su Qingyue helplessly said no more. I nuzzled my head towards her, plotting something unknown, finger pointing at myself, saying seriously, I'm a little villain, now I want to bully you. Su Qingyue lazily leaned back in the chair, looking at me. With a hint of curiosity, how does the little villain want to bully me? The person on the bed blinked, tilted his head, thinking seriously, hiding slyness and bad intentions. Can you come a bit closer? Su Qingyue felt she shouldn't go over there, but her body was very honest, involuntarily moving closer to me. I inched closer towards her. Then later you have to be good and not move. Su Qingyue nodded in agreement. Okay, I moved closer, bit by bit. Su Qingyue was getting closer. My gaze fell on those soft pink lips. Fingertips couldn't help but gently touch them, wanted to touch for a long time. Finally got my wish. Su Qingyue stared at me. Drunk me wasn't just a villain, but also a pervert, especially in this drunken state. Su Qingyue gently swatted my hand away, increasing the distance. My fingertips stopped in midair. I retracted my hand, feeling wronged. Why won't you let me touch? Is it because you don't like me? Su Qingyue was dizzied by love, momentarily almost forgetting the main issue. She rummaged through my bag for a set of white clothes and threw them on me. Put on your clothes yourself. Su Qingyue turned and walked away. Wait a few minutes later, she brought a cup of warm honey water, making sure I had finished dressing before coming over. Su Qingyue's gaze fell on me. She couldn't help but let out a helpless laugh. You're dressed all right, but you put it on backwards. She patiently stuffed the cup into my hand. Drink up and then go to sleep. Honey water can reduce the discomfort after drinking, relieve headaches. I bowed my head and picked up the glass. After drinking, my heart warmed up. Lying on the bed, my whole body felt comfortable. I rubbed my tired eyes, yawned. Actually, I had been sleepy for a long time, but I didn't want to sleep, even more reluctant to sleep. I lay on my side on the bed, looking towards Su Qingyue, hesitating for a long time, wanting to speak but stopping, wanting to say it but daring not to. A long while later, Su Qingyue seemed to understand all my actions, finally couldn't help asking, what do you want to say? My eyes were dreamy, my whole being groggy. Su Qingyue, do you like me? I carefully looked up, staring at Su Qingyue's expression with expectation and nervousness. But after waiting for a very, very long time, she remained silent, as if struggling to suppress something. She didn't say anything. The room suddenly fell into a strange silence, scarily quiet, time passing by second by second. Su Qingyue showed no expression, clenching her fists tight, clenching so hard her knuckles turned white. She suddenly really wanted, in this moment, tell me all the secrets buried in her heart, to pour out the bitter, unrequited love of over 10 years. But I was drunk. Would I remember these things after waking up? Su Qingyue looked panicked, thinking a lot in that moment, finally giving up, helplessly bowing her head. Because of Yang Yuting, she had once been alienated by me, could only watch helplessly as I drifted away from her, so she didn't dare to gamble. I curled up in the blanket looking at her. Su Qingyue, do you not like me? Even just a little bit? Not even a little? I don't ask for much. Just a little is enough. Finally, Su Qingyue just took a deep breath, complex emotions welling up inside. It's late. Rest early. Gu Xingcheng, good night. Hearing that, I knew Su Qingyue was deliberately dodging my question. In an instant, all sorts of sadness and disappointment intertwined. Su Qingyue turned to walk towards the adjacent hotel room. When she turned her back to me, her eyes held a few more shades of loneliness and dejection. I summoned all my courage, stood up, and hugged her from behind. Do you not need me anymore either? Can you not go? Su Qingyue turned around to comfort me. You're really drunk. I'm not leaving. You'll stay here with you. Go lie down on the bed. I went back to lie on the bed, like a small animal scooting to the side, leaving a super large space on the bed. So sleep here with me tonight, okay? Time suddenly stopped. Su Qingyue's mind couldn't quite keep up. Seeing her not reacting for a while, I shook her hand, saying sincerely, you said you wouldn't leave me alone. Hurry and get in. I warmed it up for you. There's only one bed. Of course we have to sleep together. Su Qingyue's cold face darkened again. No way. She rejected me very decisively. I was stunned for 2 seconds, a bit unbelieving. She leaned on the chair by the bed, her voice concise, suppressed to the point of trembling. I'll sit here and sleep with you. I lay on the bed, tilting my head, round eyes looking at her, hesitating for a long while. In the end, I still inched closer to her and nodded. Okay. Su Qingyue went to turn off the lights, leaving only a very dim, warm nightlight. She sat on the stool by the bed. Her voice sounded a bit more spoiling. Go to sleep. I'll watch over you. I lay on the soft pillow and rubbed my eyes. Then you can't suddenly leave while I'm asleep. Su Qingyue hummed softly. I won't leave. Receiving an affirmative answer, I happily closed my eyes. Late at night, when everything was silent, Song Xinyue was dead drunk. She was beaten until her bones broke, her face covered in blood from her nose. However, she hadn't taken 2 steps before a heavy punch landed on the bridge of her nose. Without even waiting for her to react, she was kicked in the knee. The sound of bones breaking rang out. Heart-wrenching pain seeped deep into her marrow. A stream of hot blood gushed from Song Xinyue's nose. Forced to kneel on the ground, she angrily raised her head. The next second, her expression suddenly froze. Complex emotions spread throughout her body. Yang Yuting looked down at her from above. The Yang family's rules were very strict, always requiring the heir to maintain a perfect state, never letting others see their emotions, hiding joy and anger. She also always maintained a cold demeanor, possessing only breathtaking beauty. But now her eyes were overflowing with anger. Those eyes looked as if they were stained with countless drops of fresh blood. Song Xinyue wanted to retreat and hide, but Yang Yuting grabbed her tightly by the collar. Her voice was cold as ice. Speak. Song Xinyue had already drunk some alcohol, so she spilled everything in her heart. You wouldn't agree anyway. He doesn't care about you, so I'm willing to marry him. Let me play around a bit, so what? Yang Yuting reached out and choked Song Xinyue. Her 5 fingers tightened, gripping hard. It seemed she really intended to strangle her to death. Yang Yuting clenched her fist, delivering punch after punch, striking hard at Song Xinyue's face, her voice bone-chillingly cold. I will discuss it with Uncle so you can get the hell out of the country. Song Xinyue was being choked, nearly unable to breathe. Engulfed by the sensation of suffocation, she fell to the ground, face covered in blood. Over 10 years of endurance and grievance, mixed with high alcohol concentration, suddenly exploded at this moment. Song Xinyue lay on the ground, smiling weirdly. Her voice was piercing. Yang Yuting, you really have emotional issues. You really are a cheap bitch. The one who implicitly allowed us to mock and belittle Gu Xingcheng was you. The one who led him on and refused to respond was also you. What deep affection are you pretending to have now? As she finished speaking, Yang Yuting felt like she had fallen into an ice cave, her expression completely frozen. Song Xinyue laughed maniacally, screaming out each word. From childhood to adulthood, everyone had to chase after you. But look back, you don't have a single real friend by your side. No one is sincere with you. If it weren't for your status as the young miss of the Yang family, who would bother with you? The dark night was silent. Even the rustling sound of the cold wind blowing was incredibly clear. Song Xinyue's words were resounding, incredibly piercing, as if she were holding a megaphone, constantly amplifying them in her ear. Yang Yuting closed her slightly red eyes, her expression darkening. Gu Xingcheng likes me. He is sincere. Song Xinyue had seen through it long ago, sneering. So what? He doesn't need you anymore. Yang Yuting immediately retorted coldly. Impossible. I'm the only one who doesn't need him. An indescribable bitterness suddenly rose in Yang Yuting's heart. She walked alone on the street in the cold wind. Her shadow gradually lengthened, looking incredibly lonely and lost. Yang Yuting's headache grew worse. She leaned weakly against the wall. Her face was pale. For a moment, the world spun. Memories of her past life frantically flooded into her mind, bit by bit, eroding her brain. These images flashed by like a slow-motion movie. Her brain suddenly stopped. Yang Yuting's eyes held a look of disbelief. Her vision became clear again in an instant. Her cold expression gradually melted away. The initial panic and anxiety also slowly dissipated. In the past life, I followed her for so many years. My heart and eyes were filled with her. How could I just leave so casually? Yang Yuting pursued her red lips tightly. She guaranteed this was the final test. 1:30 a.m. I dreamed again of being thrown back to the countryside when I was young, being locked in a dark room by my grandmother. I suddenly opened my eyes, taking a deep breath, but still in a daze. I hadn't fully sobered up yet. I subconsciously turned my head to look for Su Qingyue beside me. However, that chair was empty. There was absolutely no sign of Su Qingyue. I froze. She still sneaked away while I was asleep. In an instant, my whole heart felt bitter and numb, making it impossible to breathe. I held my face in despair. Su Qingyue, why don't you need me anymore either? Suddenly, Su Qingyue's voice came from behind the door. Gu Xingcheng, I'm right here. I was completely stunned. I stood dazed for a long while before coming to my senses. Following the voice, I moved bit by bit towards the bathroom door. I reached out and grabbed the doorknob. The door wasn't locked. It opened immediately. I froze for 2 seconds. After thinking seriously, I curiously poked my head inside. Hearing the door open, Su Qingyue was startled and hurriedly pulled up her pants. The tips of her ears suddenly turned bright red. Gu Xingcheng, what are you doing? I slowly reacted, blinking twice. I came to find you. Drunk me was obviously unreasonable, and not in my right mind. Su Qingyue was speechless. She paused for a moment at a loss. Facts proved. Girls must lock the door when going out to protect themselves well. After washing her hands, Su Qingyue tucked me back into the blanket. She sat on the chair beside the bed. I held her other hand tightly, as if possessed. She raised her index finger and poked my cheek, sinking deep into it. Su Qingyue took a deep breath and immediately pulled her hand back. I curled up in the blanket. Su Qingyue, I thought you didn't want me anymore either, because none of them wanted me. My mind was in a mess. Some bad memories suddenly surfaced. I always seemed to be an unlucky person. Feeling a bit disappointed, I turned over to go back to sleep. But just as I was about to drift off, I vaguely heard Su Qingyue's voice. Through the blanket, it wasn't very clear. She said, I need you. At noon, I rubbed against the pillow. Dazedly opening my eyes, memories of last night flooded back like a tide. I remembered going to the hot springs with Su Qingyue, almost being humiliated by Song Xinyue. Su Qingyue rushed over in time and took me to the hotel. After that, I didn't remember anything. Now I was in a large, soft bed. Still not understanding what was going on, I leisurely turned over. The next second, my eyes went wide, and I sat up abruptly, blinking in astonishment. Why was there someone sitting by my bed? Su Qingyue sat on the chair next to the bed, looking at me calmly. Awake? Are you hungry? There's soy milk and steamed buns on the bedside table. Since I bought them too early, they're probably a bit cold. I was stunned. Why are you here? What exactly happened last night? Su Qingyue took in my astonished expression and pursed her lips. Speaking calmly, don't you remember anything from last night? I blinked, looking at her with suspicion. Did I do something? Su Qingyue had anticipated this. She lowered her head and smiled. Taking out her phone, she played a recording. It was full of my drunk voice. Su Qingyue, can you hug me? Come here a bit, Su Qingyue. Can you not leave? Hurry up and get under the covers. I warmed them up for you. The recording ended. My pupils suddenly contracted. I could hardly believe my ears. I pointed at myself in disbelief. Is this me? Su Qingyue nodded with satisfaction, raising an eyebrow. Who else? She only played a small, relatively normal segment. More shocking content. She didn't even dare to let me hear. I collapsed, covering my face. I was so bold when drunk, acting like a hooligan with Su Qingyue. I whispered an apology. Sorry, I didn't mean to. I was drunk. I had no ability to think at all. I don't remember anything. Don't overthink it. I thought for a moment and added. Su Qingyue said, rest assured your virtue is still intact. I rubbed my eyes, looking at her with a sincere expression. I really don't remember anything, but actually, I still had some vague impressions, like asking Su Qingyue if she liked me even a little bit. Su Qingyue didn't say anything, silently avoiding the question, or when I said others didn't need me. Su Qingyue said, I need you. I heard it vaguely, not clearly. I didn't know if it was my hallucination, but I felt much more reassured in my heart. Su Qingyue couldn't help but lower her head and chuckle. Starting to deny everything already? Luckily, you only sat next to me for one night. Su Qingyue took a deep breath. Go wash up first. I bought breakfast for you. I nodded blankly. After washing up, I took the soy milk and whispered, I didn't do anything more outrageous last night, right? Su Qingyue leaned lazily against the back of the chair, her tone suggestive. You guess? I lowered my head and drank the soy milk, not daring to say anything more. Returning to the school dorm from the resort hotel, I looked guilty, but there were rumors in school. Song Xinyue suddenly dropped out, reason unknown. Heard she even moved abroad. Definitely won't be back anytime soon. For a moment, everyone was incredibly gloating. Many people had disliked her for a long time. I silently sighed in relief. My roommates next to me had bright eyes, eager for gossip, faces full of curiosity. They really wanted to hear about my daily life with Su Qingyue. And Yi Cheng propped his chin. So you drank strong liquor, and after getting drunk, you begged Su Qingyue to stay and sleep with you? Li Yu took a bite of watermelon and scooted closer. Then isn't that equivalent to you two sleeping together? I retorted. No. She just sat next to me. Li Yu smiled like a gossiping auntie, analyzing rationally yet boldly. Gu Xingcheng, she definitely likes you. Maybe she's secretly loved you for years. Those involved are blind. Those watching are clear. Yi Cheng and Gucci also nodded furiously. The three strategists all reached the same conclusion. My eyes widened in shock, heart beating like a drum. Simmering for a long time without being able to say a word, I just shook my head slightly. Su Qingyue secretly loves me? How is that possible? What is there about me for others to like? I sprawled on the table, trying to calm down, but Su Qingyue's 3 words kept echoing in my head. I need you. Days passed by. The day at the hot springs felt further and further away. Su Qingyue always felt it wasn't real. The vague ambiguity of that night, that sincere and earnest wifey, seemed like just a big dream of hers, something that didn't exist at all. only when playing the recording. Hearing my voice, did her heart gradually feel at ease. Winter was very cold, but when Yue wore that white woolen scarf, she felt this winter seemed very warm. The phone recording still played my voice from that night. Late at night, the cold wind blew outside the window, leaves rustling. Yue bowed her head, sitting at her desk, seriously writing in her notebook. December 24th, Christmas Eve, along with the arrival of winter. Today fell on a Friday. The atmosphere in school was getting thicker. Giving apples on Christmas Eve was always a good way to show friendship, even bittersweet secret love. For example, Yang Yuting. Her desk was full of apples and love letters from boys. Her face was pale, radiating a cold aura, making the girls next to her shiver, not understanding what this young miss was angry about. Only after a long while did they realize there was no apple from me. 2 years ago, I always meticulously prepared apples and greeting cards. Looking at her expectantly, she rejected or threw away gifts from others, only accepting mine. Just this action alone made me very happy. Just a little kindness would satisfy me. Such a person suddenly left. The girls didn't dare to speak. Yang Yuting almost couldn't maintain her perfectly calm facade. Yang Yuting clutched a watch in her palm. An indescribable unease rose in her heart. This watch was a one-of-a-kind custom piece, worth tens of millions, implied pure, flawless love. If only I would bow down to her. If only I would actively return, she would give it to me. But waiting and waiting. Yang Yuting waited until the lonely, biting, cold wind came, but still didn't receive my apple and wishes. At noon, I returned to the dorm after practice. Since passing the online interview round of the Star Moon singing competition for the first time, I practiced in the music room every day, preparing for tomorrow's preliminary round. All 3 rounds were broadcast live. The brothers in the dorm were genuinely happy for me. They started stuffing snacks into my hands one by one. There were also local specialties they brought, and Yi Cheng raised his chin. Wait until you show off your singing skills. Well, spam 66 in the live stream room. If anyone dares to talk trash, Daddy will report them to death in one go. I nodded after listening. It's great to have you guys. I was fed a lemon fizzy candy. Sucking on it, my mouth was full of refreshing fragrance, but I always felt like something was missing. Come to think of it, I haven't seen Yue at school for a long time these past few days. It would be great if she could appear right now. The next second, my phone suddenly chimed with a WeChat notification. I am downstairs at your dorm. Yue's message caught my eye. My heart skipped a beat. I was stunned, grabbing a small gift box on the table and rushing out. Yue stood not far away. I walked up to her. The warm breath exhaled gradually, turned into a misty white fog, slowly dissolving into the air. My voice held a joy I didn't even realize myself. Why did you come here? Yue said indifferently. Just happened to pass by, long time no see. So I came to see how you are. I handed her the apple gift box and smiled. This was the racing car model I had prepared for Yue long ago. Racing is a very dangerous competitive sport. Yue practiced almost every day. I hoped even more that Yue would be safe and smooth. Winning glory came second. I forgot which Christmas Eve it started, that we began giving apples to each other. But Yue remembered very clearly it was the winter 9 years ago. In elementary school, there was a small apple-giving activity in class. That day, a classmate was sick and didn't come, leading to an odd number of students in the class. One person was left out, and she was the one left out. Everyone exchanged apples and greeting cards. Except for her, no one wanted to give her an apple, nor did anyone write her a card. At that time, she had the worst grades, eccentric and disliked talking. There were also rumors that she liked fighting. Everyone avoided her. That day, I ran over from another class, publicly stuffing a bunch of apples and Christmas gifts into her arms. That was when Yue realized she actually cared a lot. Previous memories weren't good at all, but luckily, there was a good person always by her side for so many years. Yue's lips slowly curled up. She also took out a red apple wrapped in reindeer paper from behind her back. Eating this lucky apple will bring good luck. Do you believe it? I took the apple, looking down at the lifelike little reindeer. I hesitated for a long time without saying anything. A long while later, I looked down at her and said, Yue, do I look that easy to fool? Hearing this, Yue smiled brightly. Not fooling you. It's true. I took the apple back to the dorm, a smile on my lips, just as I opened the door. The 3 strategists stood seriously in front of me, scrutinizing me carefully with their eyes. Guxing Cheng, attention. I immediately stood at attention obediently. What's up? Strategist Gucci asked first. Where did you go just now? For some reason, I felt a bit guilty. Pausing for a moment, I went to throw out the trash. I'm telling the truth. When I went downstairs, I really did throw out the trash at the door. And Yi Cheng next to me was grinding his teeth in anger. The 3 of us on the balcony saw everything after washing the apple. I sat on the chair and truthfully confessed everything. After speaking, I ate the red apple. Gucci seized the opportunity. Is the apple she gave you sweet? I lowered my eyes and said seriously. Very sweet. After finishing the apple, I started tidying up my things. That reindeer wrapping paper box suddenly fell, a small black card. The handwriting on it was delicate and soft. Do you want to go somewhere with me tonight? I was stunned. My eyes lit up slightly. I picked up the card, looking at it over and over. Go where with her?
Su Qingyue clearly had many opportunities to say it, yet deliberately used the form of writing on a card. It seemed more formal. My curiosity was piqued. I thought about this sentence all afternoon. Winter nights came faster than usual. It was already dark by 5 o'clock. The night wind carried a bit of chill. I was led by Su Qingyue to a newly opened commercial area in the city center. Today was Christmas Eve, very lively. There were also many cosplayers taking commemorative photos. A giant Christmas tree stood tall in the center, decorated with colorful gems, adding a touch of beauty, misty breaths. Many couples stood in front of the Christmas tree hugging, confessing their love. Lately, I haven't paid much attention to these things. Didn't know a new commercial street opened here. Even less did I know there would be such dreamy activities. Must be newly opened. Coinciding with Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. To attract traffic, they organized it so grandly. Gu Xingcheng's pleasant voice slowly lowered. I looked down at her. Su Qingyue took out 2 small reindeer hair clips from her pocket. Holding them towards me, her voice a bit lazy. Everyone else has one. Help me put it on. I blinked, looking down at these 2 little antlers for a moment, then raising my head to look around. Indeed, the girls around were almost all wearing reindeer clips. But the one in Su Qingyue's hand was a bit different. It also had small golden bells, looking more exquisite and beautiful. I nodded. Couldn't help asking, where did you get it? Su Qingyue didn't look like someone who would buy these things. Sure enough, she blurted out that it came free with the apples. I reached out and clipped the reindeer clips on both sides for her. As the distance between us slowly closed, the faint floral scent on Su Qingyue hit my face. I felt a bit unnatural. My heart skipped half a beat. Our posture was both ambiguous and intimate. I bowed my head slightly. When leaning close, I even held my breath a little, not daring to breathe heavily. Done. I took a step back, gradually widening the distance. Su Qingyue reached up and touched the little reindeer. Her eyes held a hidden smile, accidentally revealing 2 other hair clips in her hand. Su Qingyue's tone was very righteous. You have to wear one with me too. She looked up slightly, her lips curving up. I was suddenly speechless. Why? Su Qingyue didn't know why either. She just wanted me to wear it with her. It seemed like wearing identical hair clips could prove to others that they were a couple, like many couples on the street wearing matching clothes or wearing matching bracelets, silently showing affection. There was a very subtle feeling in it. I was still thinking about how to answer. The next second, Su Qingyue tiptoed in front of me. I'll clip it for you. Her gaze was incredibly burning. I found it hard to refuse. I squatted down. She reached out and clipped the hair clip for me, carefully and seriously. After clipping it on, my heart couldn't help but rejoice. Maybe it was due to the strong festive atmosphere, in the expectant and happy atmosphere of the passers-by. I relaxed more and more. I bought 2 cups of rich cocoa, handed one to Su Qingyue, clinked cups with her. The rich aroma immediately spread on the tip of the tongue, warm as spring. My whole body instantly came back to life. 2 people gradually approached the game area. All were novelties like Lego blind boxes. There were quite a few young people. Su Qingyue led me to the claw machine, suddenly stopped, asked if I wanted to play the claw machine. The giant claw machine was like magic in a fairy tale world. The dolls in the glass case were of all kinds. Many dolls were limited editions that couldn't be bought. I also really wanted to experience the joy of catching a doll, still thinking about whether to play or not. Su Qingyue had already exchanged coins. Come here. Su Qingyue stared at me, her tone carried extreme temptation. Gu Xingcheng, if you don't try, how do you know if you can do it? Su Qingyue put a coin in first, one hand gripping the joystick, controlling the claw, pressed the button. The claw slowly lowered, accurately catching a plush dog. Watching the plush dog being lifted by the claw, I felt my heart being grabbed too, slowly lifting high. I held my breath slightly, not daring to breathe heavily. But the next second, my upturned lips suddenly disappeared. That plush doll suddenly fell, failing just centimeters from the exit. But Su Qingyue had no reaction, as if it were a foreseen outcome. I approached and comforted her gently. That was great. Try again. Maybe you'll get it. The distance instantly shortened. Su Qingyue's gaze fell on my full, soft lips. After 2 or 3 seconds, she immediately looked away. She inserted a coin to try again, but all 3 times. Each time it was just a little short. At the crucial moment, the claw always loosened. I felt sorry for her. Su Qingyue was very calm. She stuffed a coin into my hand, tilting her head to look at me seriously. You try. I subconsciously refused, but my luck is bad. You play. Su Qingyue lowered her head and smiled softly. As you can see, 4 misses. My luck is probably even worse. I had to put the coin in, taking a shot in the dark. I had almost no hope, but still seriously controlled the claw. Aiming at the butter bear in the middle, nervously pressed the red button. The claw gripped the little bear tightly and flew into the air. The next second, a clattering sound. I blinked. Unbelievably took out the cream bear holding flowers from below. Su Qingyue. I really caught it, Su Qingyue. Half leaning against the claw machine, she unconsciously curled her lips along with me. Very good. This was the first time in my life I caught a plush doll. Su Qingyue seemed not to believe in jinxes, tried a few more times, but either didn't catch it or caught it halfway. The claw suddenly loosened. Not a single success. The kids watching nearby were getting anxious, innocently looking up and saying, Sister, you have to try harder. You're not as good as your boyfriend. Su Qingyue looked at the kids and didn't deny it.
just chuckled softly, lazily responded, "That's right, this brother is better, so I have to let him play." Hearing the word boyfriend, my chest warmed up a bit. Another coin was stuffed into my hand. This is the last coin. Under the gaze of many people, inevitably felt a bit of pressure. I took a deep breath, shook the joystick. The target was the small brown dog Suching Yue tried to catch earlier. After confirming the aim, seriously pressed the button, with a serious face. I didn't know, while I was seriously catching the doll, Suching Yue was also seriously looking at me, seeing the claw grip the small dog tightly, slowly flying up. Finally, with a clatter, it fell steadily into the exit, caught it again. The kids nearby clapped wildly. I immediately squatted down, hugging the plush dog from the exit. Suching Yue looked quickly. I caught it again. I didn't know if it was an illusion. I always felt that whenever it was my turn. The claw was particularly strong. I felt I was frighteningly strong right now. My face was proud, asking for praise, like a happy little reindeer. Suching Yue's heart felt like it was being tickled by a feather, indescribably soft. It was just catching a plush doll. I was already this happy, so easily satisfied, at this moment. Suching Yue suddenly felt everything she did was worth it. Her eyes were filled with a radiant smile. Her eyes held scattered light. Gu Xingcheng, you are very lucky. You are the one most deserving of luck. I looked at the two plush dolls in my hands, then looked at Suching Yue and said, I'll share half my luck with you. The street was crowded and bustling. Christmas piano melodies echoed in the air, so beautiful it felt unreal. Clearly, it was noisy and lively around, but Suching Yue gradually couldn't hear the surrounding sounds clearly. Only the sentence, I'll share half my luck with you remained. In an instant, an indescribable emotion spread wildly. Just looking at each other for a second, one would unconsciously sink in. Suching Yue smiled uncontrollably. She looked away. Gu Xingcheng, follow me. I didn't ask why. Nodded, followed her through the crowd. We stopped in front of a newly opened toy shopping center, but the crowd surged like a tide, completely impossible to enter, extremely crowded. Suddenly a boy fell to the ground ahead, crying loudly in pain. Wait for me to help the boy up. When I looked up again, I couldn't find Suching Yue's familiar figure. I stood there looking around, but couldn't find her anywhere. A sudden panic rose in my heart. The next second, a warm sensation spread from my wrist. A tingling feeling seeped into my skin, permeating through my limbs and bones. I'm here. Suching Yue grabbed my wrist, leading me straight forward. The small patch of skin where we touched felt like it was about to catch fire. So hot that it was hard to ignore. The shopping mall on Christmas Eve was exceptionally lively. People were coming and going in front of the arcade. Suching Yue grabbed my wrist. I slowly came back to my senses. My ears instantly turned red, just as Suching Yue stopped walking. It was like an electric shock. I immediately pulled my hand back. My face was full of unnatural awkwardness. I didn't dare to look her in the eye at all. I just wanted to bury my head in the ground. Almost the very second I pulled my hand back, Suching Yue immediately noticed the shift in my emotions. She also noticed me quietly inching to the side. Suching Yue's movement froze. Her expression looked a bit panicked. She lowered her eyes and silently withdrew her hand, suppressing the turbulent emotions inside. A moment later, she regained her composure. Her tone was calm. She asked if I wanted to draw a prize. My attention was caught, and I looked up. This was an opening event. Just scan the login code, hit like, and follow the public account to get a direct prize draw. I didn't really want to do these troublesome things. Most importantly, my luck is terrible. I've never won anything. But the various limited edition items in the store, those exquisite gifts, tempted me. I nodded. Sure. Suching Yue scanned the code and did it first. 23 minutes later, she randomly picked a red envelope from the staff's hand. I craned my neck and carefully leaned in to look. The result was a blank piece of paper inside the red envelope. Too bad, didn't win. I was a bit disappointed. I didn't expect much. I liked the video on the public account. Looking at the red envelopes in the staff girl's hand, I hesitated inside. The staff girl also smiled at me and Suching Yue, young man. Hurry and pick one. I nodded. I randomly took a red envelope. I slowly opened the paper inside. 3 big words. First prize appeared before my eyes. I froze on the spot. I confirmed it again and again several times. I couldn't quite believe this sudden luck. I flipped to the back of the paper. There was a line of English written in cursive. For some reason it felt familiar. I didn't know if it was an illusion. It looked a bit like Suching Yue's handwriting. Even when I handed the paper to the staff girl, I still felt dizzy. It felt like I was hit by a falling star from the sky. My whole body was dazed, swelling with a surreal feeling. It wasn't until the prize was stuffed into my arms that I came back to my senses. People around looked full of admiration, watching me and uttering exclamations of amazement. I stepped out of the crowd. My eyes curved slightly. Starlight sparkled in my eyes. Suching Yue, look, quick, I really drew that lucky apple. It really works. Suching Yue stood close beside me, looking at my surprised expression. A wave of warmth gradually rose in her heart. If I was happy, she would inexplicably be happy too. Suching Yue's lips curled up slightly. She asked gently. I was incredibly satisfied. We walked through the whole mall together. I carefully hugged the box the whole way. I felt like I was about to sprout wings, slowly floating up. And that paper of luck and favor. I carefully folded it up too.
seriously tucking it into my pocket, until many years later, I finally truly understood there is no Santa Claus in the world, but the favor and luck of Christmas Eve. Someone who loves you will wrap it as a gift and secretly give it to you. Night fell. The bright moon and streetlights emitted a hazy glow, enveloping the two of us. The next second, some girls walking together ahead suddenly got excited, pointing at the sky and shouting in surprise, "You guys, look, is this a meteor?" I looked up with them, but I couldn't see anything after searching for a long time. Another girl looked confused. "Where is it? Why don't I see it?" "You're not tricking me, are you?" "I'm not tricking you. There really was one just now. Look, another one." The girl excitedly took out her phone to take a picture. I slowly looked up, the whole sky reflected in my eyes. Suddenly, a ray of light flashed across the pitch-black sky, dragging a sparkling pink tail as it swept across the galaxy in the night sky, disappearing in the blink of an eye. It was a pink meteor. I felt like I was dreaming. What kind of day was this? I caught plushies twice in a row. I won a prize. I even witnessed a meteor passing by with my own eyes. Today is truly my lucky day. Su Qingyue stood beside me. She also looked up at the sky, enjoying the same beautiful scenery with me. Neither of us expected it. The real miracle was just beginning. A spectacular meteor shower slowly unveiled itself. Countless shooting stars traced beautiful arcs, dazzling and radiant as diamonds, like arrows ready to be fired, burning from friction with the air, gathering into 10,000 silver rays, making one captivated at first glance. The girls in front were so excited they were about to jump up, completely speechless. I was also unusually silent. I had never seen a meteor with my own eyes, let alone a meteor shower. I hurriedly raised my phone to record a video, wanting to capture this magnificent moment. But the video couldn't be as stunning as seeing it with my own eyes. This was a romantic poem that Christmas Eve gifted them, a brilliant painting that the vast universe painted for them. I thought I would never forget this lucky day. It would be deeply etched in my memory forever. I suddenly thought of something. I patted Su Qingyue's shoulder. "Su Qingyue, make a wish, quick. Meteors have an ancient legend. Just sincerely pray to it, and the wish might very well come true. Okay, let's wish together." Su Qingyue leaned against my arm, her lips curled up unconsciously. She closed her eyes to make a wish just like me. Theoretically speaking, wishing like this has no effect at all, but people live for moments like these. We can't always be logical. A moment later, two wishes crossed the sky with the meteor shower, traveling through the universe, landing in an unknown corner. I hope my competition goes smoothly tomorrow, that I can bravely stand on stage and shine, getting a bit closer to my dream. I hope he can shine like a shooting star, but never fall. Done wishing, I secretly opened my eyes, peeking at Su Qingyue. The next second, I unexpectedly crashed into Su Qingyue's jet-black eyes. Our eyes met, making hearts flutter. My heart stopped for a second, perhaps feeling the tremor of nature, perhaps because I was too excited and happy today. I didn't turn my head away immediately like usual. This time our gazes seemed to commune. Neither looked away. I looked at her silently and seriously. Actually, I really like Su Qingyue's eyes, especially the tear mole dotting under her right eye. The corners of her eyes tilted up slightly. In that moment, the brilliant meteor shower dazzled the whole sky, but it all became a background for her. I froze. Panic rose in my heart, because I seemed to see a brilliant twinkling meteor falling into Su Qingyue's affectionate eyes. The next day was Saturday Christmas. It was also the preliminary round of the first Star Moon Cup singing selection contest. At exactly 6 p.m., the opera stage live stream was in full swing. Su Qingyue stood at the frontmost spot on the second floor. Her gaze swept over the contestants below, without any emotion. This competition was organized very formally. The stage was bright and spacious. The lights, the participating contestants were all ordinary people, facing such a big stage, and the cold, scrutinizing eyes of the judges. Singing live, it was hard to avoid nervousness. It was very difficult to show one's true ability. At 8 p.m., the competition was halfway through. Whether judges or audience, everyone was getting a bit aesthetically fatigued. The next second, the spotlight shone on the center of the stage, reflecting a silver streak of light, falling into Su Qingyue's eyes. The woman's gaze, which had been wandering, finally focused in that moment. Her heart beat wildly against her ribs. She awaited her prince. Below the stage, the MC calmly introduced. Number 99, Gu Xingcheng, the live stream camera. In the frame, the boy wore a simple white suit. He looked humble and introverted, seemingly a bit afraid to look straight at the camera. Hundreds of thousands of viewers in the live stream room paused for a few seconds, then began screenshotting frantically. When the first second of music played, I slowly raised the microphone, closing my eyes, singing in the middle of the vast stage. In an instant, the surroundings became incredibly quiet. Only the boy's clear, deep voice echoed in the air, washing and purifying the soul. As soon as I sang, all eyes and spotlights focused on me. I was definitely very nervous. Otherwise, I wouldn't have closed my eyes. My fingertips curled slightly, sweating a little. But when I closed my eyes, it was pitch black before me. Su Qingyue's image kept appearing in my mind, thinking of her. I seemed to stop being nervous. My clear, powerful voice blended with the accompaniment,
enveloping the softest parts of the listeners' hearts. I had practiced this song countless times. The details were fine, but something seemed missing. My mentor said, it was because I didn't fully understand the song, it lacked a bit of soul, so I couldn't express the free and unrestrained emotion the original singer intended. I had been a bit discouraged, until that spectacular and breathtaking meteor shower last night. I don't know if it was because the wish succeeded. My mood underwent an earth-shattering change. I bathed in the brilliant lights. In this moment, I seemed to truly understand what it means to enjoy the stage. I looked up, slowly opened my eyes, saw the expressionless screen, countless audience members raising phones, cameras from all sides, the lenses all turned into shooting stars, sweeping across the night sky. The world seemed to freeze in that moment. Time stopped too. But there was still one person. I unexpectedly caught Suching Yue's burning hot gaze, becoming more and more confident. Countless people stared up from below the stage. Even holding their breath, the camera zoomed in on my face. Tens of thousands of people in the livestream room, only then discovered teardrop-shaped diamonds pasted under my eyes, like teardrops reflecting scattered light. I immersed myself more and more in the song, enjoying the stage. Emotions became fuller. The spread was extremely powerful. The number of people in the official livestream room kept rising. On the second floor of the theater, Suching Yue's gaze was etched on me. A faint curve appeared at the corner of her lips. This moment, I really did it, shining like a diamond just as I sang, radiating glory. The stage ended. I slowly put down the microphone, heart pounding. It felt like I was walking on cotton. A sense of relief rose like I just finished an 800-meter run. The singing slowly stopped, but everyone was still immersed in the starry sky from just now, taking a long time to come back to reality. In the villa, outside the livestream screen, the woman's gaze rested on the lens. Her gaze on the center of the stage grew colder, revealing complex, elusive emotions. Yang Yuting pursed her red lips tight, her long, slender white fingers subconsciously curled up, gripping the luxury watch in her hand. She remembered that in the past life, she opposed my career, did not approve of me singing or struggling in the entertainment industry. She secretly suppressed me. It was just a matter of one word from her. In my world, having her was enough. Her friends would also mock me. Don't know your own limits. Delusional. Over time. Standing on stage, I seemed to lack confidence more and more. My career went downhill. I even tended towards depression. We had a cold war over this, but every time I was the one who humbled myself to coax her. In the past life, I obviously liked her so much. Loved her to death like that. How could I leave so easily in this life? The image of the sparkling boy was etched into her mind. Yang Yuting felt like a volcano about to erupt. Could lose control at any moment. This feeling of being out of control, this unprecedented loss of emotional control made her very uncomfortable. After the stage ended, steps walking down the stage, my legs were a bit weak. I actually finished singing. Everything felt like a dream. The competition results for the round would be out later, but now I seemed to have some confidence in my heart. Opening my phone, countless messages in the dorm group chat popped up frantically. Xingcheng, you're amazing, so good. My heart felt warm. Seriously replying, I started rewatching the live stream, observing my every gesture from just now. Eyes gradually widening, disbelief added to the depths of my eyes. Was that boy on stage really me? Through the screen, I seemed to see another side of myself. Even I felt amazed and astonished. Moreover, I didn't know how I could, on stage, accurately catch Suching Yue's gaze from the vast sea of people. After rewatching the video repeatedly, I flusteredly put away my phone, unconsciously looking up to the second floor, scanning every face. I looked until my eyes were tired, still couldn't find Suching Yue's figure. Strange, she was clearly there just now. Gu Xingcheng. A familiar voice rang out from behind, accompanied by a faint floral scent spreading around me. I immediately turned around, eyes curving into crescents. It seems no matter if I find her or not, Suching Yue will always silently be by my side. Unexpectedly caught off guard, a bouquet of black roses was presented before me. High-end, beautiful, surrounded by this rich fragrance. It was like romance itself rushed towards me without hesitation. I was stunned. Suching Yue held the flowers with both hands. Congratulations, the stage was perfect. My breath hitched for a moment. Couldn't tell if it was joy or surprise, nor if it was because of her recognition, or because of this bouquet. My mind suddenly went blank. I said blankly, why did you suddenly prepare flowers? Suching Yue stared at me, then unnaturally shifted her gaze. Her tone was a bit absent-minded. The flower shop had a sale, so I just bought them. After speaking, she lazily added, look, they all have them. I followed her gaze. Many other contestants nearby were surrounded by people. Some were parents, some were partners, some were friends, all giving bouquets of fresh flowers to cheer. The old flower seller nearby, probably about to laugh until he can't breathe. I hesitated to accept the flowers. I always feel like I don't deserve such surprise happiness. Suching Yue spoke slowly. Don't like them? I came to my senses. My mouth was faster than my brain, blurring out, I like them, how could I not? I accepted the exquisite bouquet, repeating softly once again. Suching Yue, I really like them. I bowed my head slightly, noticing an English card in the bouquet, suddenly stunned. It could be romantically translated as let me protect you. The moment I saw this English line, my heart skipped a beat. This must have come with the bouquet, right? Yes, definitely. Su Qingyue herself said. She bought it because the flower shop had a sale. Surely she wouldn't think that much, right? I slowly breathed a sigh of relief, but couldn't help fantasizing. What if she prepared it specially, or what if she chose the card herself? I hugged the flowers contentedly. I felt this bouquet Su Qingyue gave me was the most beautiful in the hall. The most beautiful. I took out my phone to take a picture, to photograph this bouquet and the card on it, wanting to record these good things forever, just like the meteor shower last night. So when I'm old, I can slowly reminisce, deep in such thoughts. Suddenly, Su Qingyue walked up to me. Let me take it for you. I subconsciously said, okay, regretting a bit after saying it. I like photographing things, photographing scenery, but I don't like photographing myself. Before I could get ready, Su Qingyue stepped back, raising the phone to aim at me. Seeing her extremely serious and patient look, I was dazed, smiling stiffly at the camera. Su Qingyue gazed intently at the phone screen, the handsome face of the boy in the photo. Her gaze was tightly drawn, couldn't help thinking, so handsome. Su Qingyue took a total of 10 photos, almost finding the best angle in every one. The photos had a very strong atmosphere. I looked at each of my photos, nodding very satisfied. Su Qingyue, you're really too good. You took them so beautifully. Hearing the praise, Su Qingyue pretended to be cool with an arrogantly raising her chin. After watching the performances of the last few contestants, the preliminary round for this region officially ended. The competition results would take a while. I put on my white down jacket, finished wrapping my scarf, returning with Su Qingyue on Christmas night. Neon lights shone in brilliant colors. Shops big and small around were still playing Christmas theme music. The sky was dotted with twinkling stars. My mood became happy and relaxed along with it. Couldn't help saying it again. Thank you, Su Qingyue. Turning back to say lazily, thank you for what? I smiled at her. For your flowers, of course. Thank you, Su Qingyue, for going to the contest with me, giving me flowers, and taking pictures for me. Even more thankful she appeared in my life, walking along the road. Suddenly, Su Qingyue frowned slightly, vigilantly standing in front of me. I was confused, only to see under the cold streetlight not far away a figure in a white dress standing there. Yang Yuting was staring at us with icy eyes. Her fingertips subconsciously tightened, completely unexpected that I would let another woman accompany me to the competition. Wasn't I pursuing her? So why act ambiguous with another woman while pursuing her? Yang Yuting stood motionless, face darkening, waiting for me to actively come over and coax her, but I stood behind Su Qingyue, not stepping out for a long time, just like that day. Even if she said if I dared to go with Su Qingyue, then never come back, I didn't turn back at all. Yang Yuting's expression got worse and worse. Su Qingyue stood between the two, her eyes held added vigilance and disgust. Something wrong? Yang Yuting gripped the bag in her hand tightly, completely ignoring her, voice turning cold. Gu Xingcheng, come here. This was the first time she humbled herself, actively running to find me outside of school. I should have been secretly happy. Clearly before, in the past life. She only needed to say come here, only needed to wave. I would obediently appear before her. But now, I had absolutely no intention of going over. I calmly refused. I've said it many times. I don't want to see you anymore as soon as I finish speaking. The expression Yang Yuting was trying to maintain nearly collapsed, but she still carried that cold, arrogant aura. Asking through gritted teeth, then why give me a scarf? I was confused. Scarf? When did I give you a scarf? Boom, like a lightning strike. Yang Yuting stepped back in disbelief. Every word seemed squeezed out from between her teeth. Didn't you give me this scarf? I looked at the somewhat rough red scarf on her neck, crooked and uneven, clearly hand-knitted by someone, completely clashing with the expensive luxury items on her. I suddenly felt this person was ridiculous. Deep affection that comes too late is cheaper than trash. Clearly in the past life after I gave Yang Yuting a scarf, I never saw her wear it, nor did I hear a single compliment from her. I was even anxious and uneasy inside, thinking did she not like it? Did she feel it was too cheap? She just likes people pampering and coaxing her, actively pursuing, taking everything for granted. Those bitter pains can never be erased. I lowered my eyes, calmly said, no, Yang Yuting, you are not worthy of someone else's sincere love. My voice through the cold wind seemed coated in frost, extremely sharp and piercing, stabbing hard into Yang Yuting's bleeding heart. Yang Yuting was stunned, her perfect, tidy expression nearly shattered into dust, constantly muttering inside impossible. However, Su Qingyue beside me was in a happy mood, feeling warmer and more comfortable all over. She turned to look at me. If you don't want to see her, you go back first. He'll come over later. I hesitated a moment, nodded and smiled. Okay, then he'll wait for you at the subway station. I took a detour, while turning back to look at Su Qingyue worriedly. The figure gradually disappeared into the thick night. Su Qingyue turned around, facing Yang Yuting. The inherent gentleness in her eyes vanished completely. A storm was brewing in the depths of her eyes. Eyesore. Both felt the other was an extreme eyesore. Seeing Yang Yuting lift her foot to follow, Su Qingyue blocked her way immediately. Yang Yuting raised her chin, finally looking straight at Su Qingyue. Her tone had no warmth, like looking at a dead object, just a secret admirer. On what basis and qualification do you have to appear in front of him? She laughed coldly, questioning word by word. What does it have to do with you?
Su Qingyue looked calm, reaching up to show the scarf on her neck. Just based on the fact that this scarf of mine was hand-knitted by Xing Cheng. Yang Yuting stared at her beige scarf. Her grip tightened until it turned white. She tried to maintain a dignified expression. Impossible. What I said was just out of anger. Besides, who knows if this damn green tea's words are true or false? Yang Yuting ruthlessly exposed her bloody scar. So what? You like him, secretly love him. But he has only ever seen you as a younger sister. He basically want like you. Well, I don't even need to do anything. He will actively come to curry favor with me. Yang Yuting looked at her mockingly, revealing a pitying expression. Su Qingyue, you are truly pitiful. Saying that, Yang Yuting left with a dark face, directly throwing the gift box into the trash can. Under strict demands from childhood to adulthood, she was always a master of disguise, someone with extremely stable emotions. This was the first time her mood fluctuated so violently. Also the first time feelings of helplessness and panic arose. Yang Yuting originally thought she had the upper hand, but until she passed the end of a store, she realized just how much she had lost composure. Red bloodshot veins appeared in Su Qingyue's eyes.
Standing stiffly on the spot, feeling at a disadvantage for the first time. He only sees you as a younger sister. He basically won't like you. Every word killed the heart. A feeling of helplessness spread to her limbs in an instant. There was a time. She had heard it before. Back in the first year of high school, a boy asked me, "Hey, what's the relationship between you and Su Qingyue? It feels like you two were very close when school started." My voice was calm. "Consider her a childhood friend I grew up with." The boy leaned in close. "Do you really not have any thoughts like that about her?" I very lightly said, "Huh?" The boy was both surprised and happy. "That's great. Su Qingyue, she's totally my type. Can you help me give her a love letter?" "Xing Cheng, I'm counting on you." Su Qingyue was right behind. Her heart felt gripped by a large hand, intense pain, making it hard to breathe. Secret love is endurance, suppression. The gaze is careful scrutiny. It's the panic of one person. Her secret love was giving without calculation, asking for no return. So basically, there's nothing pitiful about it. Su Qingyue exhaled, walking towards the subway station. Her shadow stretched long by the streetlights, lonely and solitary. This road seemed very, very long, but she was willing to spend her whole life walking it. When I got back to the dorm, I was tossed in the air by roommates, frantically, forcedly loved. A bit awkward from the praise, I hurriedly ran to shower. When I came out, the WeChat group chat had exploded with over 99 messages, startling me. Chen Shishi sent, "Oh my god, brother Gu, you actually hid it from us and secretly joined the competition." Zhang Qing asked, "What competition?" "I am Ultraman." Chen Shishi replied, "The school forum exploded. This damn dead phone. Little brother, take us with you next time." We cheer extremely enthusiastically. Guarantee you'll be the one with the most screams in the hall at Su Qingyue. Fine, fine, fine. You eat alone. Went to watch by yourself without inviting us, right? I froze a bit. Scrolling through messages again and again, waves of warmth rose in my heart. I couldn't help curving my lips, replying seriously. "If I'm lucky enough to get into the second round, you'll definitely invite everyone to go." Finished replying. I looked at the bouquet Su Qingyue gave me, mood unconsciously becoming better. Gucci beside me squinted slightly. This bouquet was given by Su Qingyue, right? Hit the nail on the head. I lowered my head slightly, looking honest, shyly bowing my head. After hearing my words, Li Yu's eyes flashed with a look that saw through everything. "He prepared this on purpose, didn't he? Flower shop discount my foot. Bought it on a whim? Whim my ass. He definitely bought them specially for you." And Yi Cheng laughed. "He loves you so much." I pursed my lips, looking at the card that read, "Let me protect you." My ears suddenly burned hot. The next second, Yi Cheng's eyes lit up, suddenly leaning close to my face. "Right, Xing Cheng. Do you know that when you walked in just now, there was something different about you?" I suddenly had a bad feeling. I looked up blankly. "Different how?" And Yi Cheng raised his eyebrows. "Your whole body reeks of the sour stench of love." He didn't say who was staring at the roses and giggling foolishly. I bristled. Is it really that obvious? The December weather is getting colder. My breath condensed into a layer of white mist. I haven't seen Su Qingyue at school these past few days. An indescribable feeling rose in my heart. New Year's holiday, December 31st. Su Qingyue and I went home together, an hour and a half on the high-speed train. When we left the station, it was nearly 6 p.m. On the way, Su Qingyue had her hands in her down jacket pockets, her chin buried in her scarf, voice gentle. "You're coming over tonight too, right? My mom isn't home." I pushed my suitcase with one hand. I tilted my head to look at her, then silently turned back. That always felt a bit weird to hear, like two people sneaking around doing 18-plus stuff. In the past, I was always alone every New Year's Eve, so I would run next door to Su Qingyue's house to watch TV together, celebrating year after year with her. It seemed to have become a habitual agreement. I nodded. "Of course, I'm coming." We walked side by side. There was almost no one around. I took out my earphones and asked if she wanted to listen to music. In this moment, I suddenly wanted to listen to music with Su Qingyue. I don't even know why I had such an impulsive thought. Su Qingyue took one earbud and put it in her ear. I played a song from my playlist, a Korean song I've listened to over and over again, Angel. When the intro of the song played, a strong sense of destiny washed over me. We seemed separated from the surrounding world. At this moment, it was just the two of us. My gaze unconsciously fell on Su Qingyue. Unexpectedly, Su Qingyue looked up at me at that exact moment. Our eyes met. We were standing very close. It felt like her warm breath was wrapping around me. I could even count Su Qingyue's distinct eyelashes. In this moment, my eyes were glued to her. I couldn't look away no matter what. The next second, a small snowflake slowly drifted down from the sky, landing on Su Qingyue's forehead, on her hair. Everything looked like a scene from a slow-motion movie. I looked up at the sky filled with falling snow and laughed excitedly. Su Qingyue, look, it's snowing. This is the first snow of this winter. I reached out my hand. Snowflakes fell on my glove, eventually melting little by little. Su Qingyue looked up at me. Infected by my smile and gaze, she couldn't help but curl her lips. She saw a snowflake, quietly drifting down onto my high nose bridge, melting away, and something inside her heart seemed to burn hot as well. Melting together, first snow symbolizes first love. I love you. The music played exactly that line. My heart suddenly thumped as if revealing something. I took a deep breath, trying to suppress the panicked fluttering in my chest, not knowing if it was because of this first snow or the romantic music or for some other reason. The snow fell heavier and heavier. By 9 p.m., the ground was covered in a white blanket of snow. My half-sister, Jiang Qian, was incredibly excited. She spent an hour on her essay, only to write just the title, insisting on dragging me outside to play in the snow. She blinked pleadingly. "Brother, hey brother, come out and play with me for a bit. I'm bored to death." I put down my pen and organized my exam papers. "Last time you only got 38 points in math. Will Mom agree to let you go out and play?" Jiang Qian is in 4th grade now, with poor grades. She's naughty, dislikes homework, and often gets parents summoned to school. But so what? Mom still likes her, spoils her, treats her like a treasure. My eyes dimmed briefly. I used to admire that, used to be jealous, but now I'm long numb to it. Jiang Qian nodded vigorously. She agreed Mom is packing. I still have to go to my grandparents' house later. Same as usual, staying for 2 days. I hummed softly. That is Jiang Qian's biological grandfather. Her grandmother and I have no blood relation. Almost every New Year's holiday, they leave me home alone. I said nothing more and looked out the window. The snow is falling thick, hard to walk in. Let's go out and play for a bit. I also wanted to play in the snow. Jiang Qian was calculating something in her mind. She asked excitedly, "Can you call Sister Qingyue to come play too?" Last time I almost beat her, I thought to myself. So this kid just wanted to play with Su Qingyue, and that almost beat her was probably still far off the mark. It's amazing to say, Su Qingyue has always been a perfect goddess in Jiang Qian's heart. I don't know what kind of love potion she fed her. I glared at her, then lowered my head and texted Su Qingyue, "Want to come out and play in the snow?" Almost immediately after sending, she replied, "Okay." Jiang Qian immediately ran around excitedly, jumping for joy, running downstairs. I slowly changed my shoes and went down. Su Qingyue was already waiting in the snow. Pure white snow fell on her shoulders, suddenly giving off a very moving feeling, a very romantic atmosphere. Jiang Qian rushed into the snow, happily sitting on the ground making a small snowman. The snow hadn't accumulated much, just a thin layer, definitely not enough to build a big snowman. Less than 10 minutes later, Jiang Qian molded an ugly little turtle, raising her arms high, face full of pride. "Look at this." I squatted on the ground, hands busy molding snow as I glanced over. Jiang Qian happily held up the turtle, but her hand suddenly shook. The molded snow instantly shattered, leaving only fragments of the turtle's corpse. She froze for a few seconds, blankly looking at the remains on the ground, then burst into tears. "Wah, my turtle is broken." Seeing her cry more and more miserably, I just laughed more happily. Suddenly, a fairy-like figure stood in front of me, blocking my view. Su Qingyue squatted in front of me. Hiding something behind her back, she spoke gently. "Gu Xingchen, give me your hand." I immediately stopped what I was doing, obediently holding out my cupped hands. The next second, a small, lifelike snow bunny sat in the palm of my hand. The moment our fingertips touched, a scorching warmth transmitted through. My breath hitched slightly, staring at the small snow bunny in my palm. My eyes couldn't help showing some astonishment. The snow bunny was molded exquisitely and cutely. One look and you could tell how much effort went into it. Yet Su Qingyue still looked lazy, as if she had just randomly molded this bunny. My heart skipped a beat, and a thought suddenly flashed through my mind. Could she really be a genius? Beside us, Jiang Qian recovered from the pain of the broken turtle, sneakily making a few snowballs while Su Qingyue wasn't looking, suddenly swinging her arm to throw them at her, bombarding madly. One snowball even hit my forehead. Before I could react, my forehead felt freezing cold. Immediately after, Su Qingyue casually grabbed handfuls of snow, throwing them precisely at Jiang Qian's face, fast, accurate, and hard. In no time, she beat her until she had no strength to fight back. Completely unable to resist. After an easy, one-sided crushing, Jiang Qian humbly begged for mercy. "Sister Qingyue, boo-hoo, I was wrong." Su Qingyue chuckled, tapping her forehead. "Wrong where?" Jiang Qian hurriedly covered her forehead, voice like a mosquito. "I shouldn't have sneak-attacked you." Su Qingyue glanced at her. "You shouldn't have thrown it at my brother." Jiang Qian laughed and cried, thinking seriously for a moment, then whispering in Su Qingyue's ear, "Can't bully your future husband, right?" Su Qingyue froze, looking at her with cold eyes. After a long while, Su Qingyue reached out and rubbed Jiang Qian's hair, neither admitting nor denying it. Jiang Qian then followed our parents to her grandparents' house for New Year's Eve. In an instant, only Su Qingyue and I were left on the snowfield. It was very cold, my nose tip turning red. I breathed out, turning my head to ask, "It's too cold, shall we go back?" I didn't know what Su Qingyue was doing squatting on the snow. A moment later, she stood up. I was just about to go see. When Su Qingyue pulled me back, a snowflake landed on Su Qingyue's eyelashes. She looked up, eyes deep. Let's go back. I didn't think much of it, hurriedly wrapping my arms around myself and walking back, just wanting to get back and soak in a comfortable hot bath. Su Qingyue followed behind me, unable to resist looking back at the empty patch of ground. Beneath the gentle moonlight, she had secretly hidden a secret in the romantic first snow. The writing said sky, with a heart drawn in the middle, GQC. After I got home and soaked in hot water, I intentionally groomed myself a bit, because I was going to Su Qingyue's house for New Year's Eve. Wait, no. I didn't do this for Su Qingyue. Absolutely not. I dried my hair and slowly calmed down. Busying myself in the kitchen for a while to make a cute little Oreo cake, I remembered Su Qingyue really likes Oreo-flavored things. After finishing everything, I carried the cake to Su Qingyue's house prepared to spend New Year's Eve just between the two of us. Around 10 p.m., the New Year's Eve programs on major TV channels had started. I leaned back on the soft gray sofa, lazily yawning, just like I was at my own home, even more comfortable than my own home. Su Qingyue sat beside me, quietly watching TV with me. We weren't sitting too close. Even another person could fit between us. At the same time. On the TV screen, an idol group was performing a new song on stage. Brilliant lights, boundless glory. It seemed to be the new girl group that debuted from this year's survival show. 10 members in total, all types of female idols. Fans below waved light sticks frantically, screaming and roaring. The next second, at the climax of the music, the 10 female idols suddenly took off their outer jackets, showing off their sexy figures to the camera, while performing incredibly alluring moves. Su Qingyue doesn't care about the entertainment industry, nor is she very interested in celebrities. She just tilted her head slightly to look at me, but I seemed to be watching very intently, not moving a muscle, not even blinking. Su Qingyue secretly gritted her teeth. Pondering for a moment, she reached out, cut a small piece of Oreo cake and held it in front of me, breaking my concentration. I immediately snapped out of it. Taking the cake, my eyes no longer glued to the TV. I lowered my eyes to focus on eating. Su Qingyue was finally satisfied. The girl group's performance ended quickly. I have to admit, the figures of those 10 idols were indeed great, but I barely paid attention to them. Su Qingyue's superior figure kept appearing in my mind, especially since she was sitting right next to me. The more I thought, the worse it got. I lowered my head to eat cake silently, hiding the ripples in my heart. The New Year's Eve show was a bit boring. 11 p.m. I was drowsy, my consciousness gradually blurring. My head slowly drooped to the right. Su Qingyue tilted her head, looking at my sleepy state. Her body reacted faster than her brain, inching closer bit by bit, almost sticking to me, but always keeping a tiny distance, until my head rested on her left shoulder. In that moment, time seemed to stop. Only my steady, gentle breathing constantly amplified in her ears. Su Qingyue turned down the TV volume. The room slowly fell into silence. The New Year's Eve program held no appeal for her. She tilted her head slightly, staring at the boy beside her, eyes deep and unfathomable. I leaned quietly against her, very well behaved. Her heart pounded. On TV, the New Year's performances changed one after another. I suddenly startled awake. Something seemed to be pressing against me. I turned to look. Su Qingyue was sitting right there. We didn't seem to be sitting this close before. I reflexively scooted to the side, breathing erratic. My mind was a mess. I dreamt of images from my past life with Su Qingyue again. So embarrassing. Su Qingyue surely didn't dream of it, otherwise it'd be too shameful. Su Qingyue closed her eyes. Her head leaned towards me, breathing steady, seemingly asleep. When she closed her eyes, her coldness softened a bit, looking somewhat gentle and pitiful. My body unconsciously moved back to the previous position, pressing close to her, actively using my shoulder to catch Su Qingyue's head as it tilted down. Only when Su Qingyue's hot breath hit me, a numbing sensation spread through my body and I suddenly sobered up. My whole body burned, but I didn't dare move. Absolutely didn't dare move. I stared at the TV with a determined gaze, upright and serious, looking like I was swearing an oath to the party, but I couldn't process a single thing. From the TV show. My mind was in turmoil. Of course, I also didn't notice Su Qingyue's lips slowly curving up in the darkness, until the sound of crackling fireworks resonated outside. Su Qingyue opened her eyes and sat up straight. Gu Xingcheng. I tilted my head to look at her. The TV countdown had entered its final stage. All guests on stage shouted in unison, 3, 2, 1. At the same time, Su Qingyue's melodious voice rang in my ear, Happy New Year. I curled my lips and smiled. Happy New Year. Warm. The atmosphere in the small house was warm and ambiguous. Winter seemed capable of being very warm too. Hearing noise outside, I leaned out the windowsill, excitedly pointing at the fireworks in the sky. Su Qingyue. Look. She stood right beside me, curling her lips, voice melodious. I see it. The fireworks were dazzlingly bright, almost lighting up the night like day. Crackling sounds filled the sky, and my heart beat wildly along with them. I want to spend every year after this with Su Qingyue. In the villa, the air was heavy, devoid of the lively New Year's atmosphere others had. The woman in front of the vanity had a gloomy expression. Yang Yuting had already investigated thoroughly. That scarf was not given by me, but clearly in the past life, it wasn't like this. Before, she clearly didn't need to do anything. Just stand there, and I would walk towards her with stars in my eyes, offering all kinds of carefully prepared gifts. It was I who had a change of heart first, said I would try to pursue her, said I only liked her. In an instant, something seemed to have spiraled completely out of control, which she still refused to admit, refused to face. In her panic, she suddenly remembered. I seemed to really like Snow. In the memories of the past life, we once had a cold war about entering showbiz. She didn't want me fooling around outside, just wanted me to revolve around her alone. The Cold War didn't last long. It was still me who bowed my head first, actively running to find her, with expectant eyes inviting her to go skiing in Switzerland. But she refused without hesitation. Not going. The Yang family is in its most crucial year. I can't go. Moreover, she wanted to teach me a lesson, using excessive actions time and again, old rejections time and again to ensure I would never leave. Would love her unconditionally forever, even each time she rejected me. Seeing the loneliness and sadness in my eyes, she would feel incredibly happy and thrilled, because she was valued and cared for by me. In love, she assumed she was always in the dominant position, but she didn't expect that after refusing. I actually went to Switzerland alone. Since then, disappointment seemed to accumulate more and more in my eyes. Yang Yuting stared at a snowflake. With stubbornness and certainty, she was sure. In my heart, I was still waiting. Right. As long as she made a small move, I would be like in the past life, following her with eyes for only her. The regret about skiing in the past life can just be made up for in this life. The short New Year holiday passed quickly. As finals week arrived, university students instantly behaved, feeling a sense of collapse like an impending disaster. Li Yu screamed in the dorm, "Damn advanced math. Damn it, I don't even understand the questions," begging the teacher to pass me. If she passes me, she's my goddess. And Yi Cheng was frantically grinding through the philosophy outline. Going insane, he gritted his teeth. I only skipped 2 classes this semester, and got caught both times. Who is as broken as me? Skipping class feels good in the moment, but finals are a crematorium. I've always reviewed seriously, finished exams and started packing, dragging my suitcase, walking side by side with Su Qingyue out the school gate, just as I was about to take out my earphones. Suddenly, an exquisite, expensive ticket fell from my backpack pocket. I froze for a moment, picked it up, and looked closer. FVIP couple tickets booking out the whole Zermatt ski resort in Switzerland. I moved my gaze downwards, signed with 3 simple letters. YYT. I was too familiar with her initials. Countless times I had secretly, with bitterness and expectation, written her name stroke by stroke seriously. But now I only felt immense horror, my scalp tingling. Sensing something, I looked towards the roadside not far away, just as a black luxury car was parked there. The window slowly rolled down, revealing a delicate, small face. Yang Yuting stared at me. The moment our eyes met, I instinctively leaned closer to Su Qingyue. I vaguely remembered the past life when I actively bowed my head, wanting to go skiing in Switzerland with Yang Yuting, but she refused. Inexplicably, the past life's bitterness seemed to transcend time and transmit to the present me. Disappointment and grievance spread endlessly, gradually extinguishing the flame of passion I had willingly ignited. Were those my emotions in the past life? I stood frozen in place. Su Qingyue stared at the ticket in my hand beside me. Her fingers slowly tightened. The moment she saw me and Yang Yuting looking at each other, her heart felt stuck in her throat. Couldn't help but call my name. Gu Xingcheng. She hesitated, deliberating for a long time before saying, I was just planning to ask you to go skiing, just to a normal ski resort in the country, not as grand as Zermatt in Switzerland, and definitely can't book out the whole resort. A deep sense of inferiority almost completely drowned Su Qingyue. In the discreet luxury car not far away, several girls also sitting in Yang Yuting's car were all staring at my every word and action. Say, will Gu Xingcheng agree? Why do I feel uncertain? Hell, definitely agree. Guaranteed agree. At this moment, a relatively sober girl spoke up carefully, but he not only blocked us, but intentionally cut ties. Last time in elective class, he clearly rejected Sister Yuting. Is it really okay for us to keep pestering like this? As soon as she finished, the girl next to her scoffed. What the hell do you know? Didn't he really want to go skiing before? No matter how much he plays hard to get. This time, Sister Yuting invited him first. If he really doesn't come, he'll chop my head off for you to use as a football. Hearing this, Yang Yuting's expression softened a lot. They glanced over, only to see the cold wind blowing my bangs. I held the ticket, seeming to chuckle softly. A glimmer of light flashed in Yang Yuting's eyes, lips curving up unconsciously. But the next second, I tore the ticket in half without hesitation, folded it, and tore it again, until the complete ticket turned into confetti. Then I threw it into the roadside trash can, movement seamless, without lingering. The group in the car was completely stunned, slowly widening their eyes. I turned and walked away without looking back, lips curling into a mocking smile. If it were me in the past life, seeing this ski ticket from Yang Yuting, I would probably be very happy, but not now. I admit I was moved, but later I will achieve it myself with my own ability. A broken mirror cannot be fixed, just like a torn ticket, cannot return to its original pristine state. The cold wind picked up, dark clouds covering the gray sky. A light sleet began to fall. One umbrella, enough for 2 people. I opened the large black umbrella, covering both of us. Su Qingyue's gaze slowly swept past that trash can. Suddenly, I tugged her sleeve gently. Su Qingyue turned to look at me. What is it? Walking beside her, I mustered my courage. Go skiing with me this winter break. I lowered my head, looking at my shoulder, seriously saying word by word, Su Qingyue, I want to be with you. Is that okay? Rain pattered on the umbrella. The sound grew louder, so loud Su Qingyue couldn't distinguish between the rain and her heartbeat. Every word I said struck hard against her heart. Su Qingyue's gaze fell into mine. How could she refuse in this rain? She heard her own voice. Then it's a date for winter break. Let's go skiing together. I nodded expectantly. Su Qingyue took in all my reactions. Her lips couldn't help but slowly curve up. She couldn't help but exclaim, the weather is really nice today. The harmonious figures of a boy and girl slowly disappeared around the corner. However, the atmosphere in the luxury car had dropped to freezing. Yang Yuting's blood almost congealed. Her face was on the verge of total collapse. What I tore didn't seem to be a ticket, but her heart. Yang Yuting's clear, cold eyes were now tinged with obsession and some confusion. How could I reject her? Why tear it up? An overwhelming panic crashed down on her, hitting her in the face. Recently, she often dreamt of fragments of the past life. Was it this painful for me back then when she rejected me? The other girls were also stunned, especially one of them. 2 minutes ago, she had even declared, if I didn't come, she'd chop her head off for football. What a slap in the face. Damn humiliating slap. Her cheeks burned with pain. She dazed for over 10 seconds, reacting only after a long while, hurriedly clutching her head. Did I see that right? Gu Xingcheng. This time he's for real. Not playing hard to get, not pushing and pulling. He's really not pursuing anymore. Another girl beside her couldn't take it anymore. Was his rejection not clear enough? Someone saw Yang Yuting's bad expression and hurriedly smoothed things over. Sigh. Men chasing our sister Yuting line up from here to France. If he doesn't like her, fine. Who does Gu Xingcheng think he is? Words not yet finished. Suddenly, Yang Yuting coldly uttered a few words. No, he likes me. Her voice stubborn. Cold eyes piercing her face. 7 years of the past life. Regardless of mockery or coldness, I followed every step, following her. Yang Yuting didn't know the later developments of the past life, but she was certain. I wouldn't marry anyone but her, could never leave her, wouldn't leave in the past life or this life. Thinking of this, Yang Yuting tried to look confident, but her expression was terrifying, stubbornly repeating, he likes me, not knowing if she was telling others or telling herself. The sober girl really couldn't stand her state anymore, couldn't help but speak up to advise, but liking someone isn't forever. I used to like skateboarding, liked it like crazy, you all know that, but now I don't like it anymore, implying that I also don't like her anymore. Upon hearing this, Yang Yuting's fingertips trembled slightly, but she remained cold. Calm to the point of denial. No, you guys don't understand Gu Xingcheng. He won't give up easily. The girls stood in silence, looking at each other, all seeing surprise and shock in each other's eyes. Since when did Yang Yuting become like this? Does she even know she's deluding herself? Sleet hit Yang Yuting's face through the car window. She was stunned for a long time, then silently rolled up the window, her face looking extremely unsightly. The old driver in the front had been listening to the drama for a while, carefully asked, Miss, back to the old mansion now? The next second, Yang Yuting stared at him coldly, squeezing 3 words through her teeth. You tell me? The driver fell silent. Yes, miss. Oh God, save this wage slave. Money is hard to earn, rice is hard to swallow. The driver was sweating bullets, driving silently. Winter break officially began. Not long after, I received good news. I passed the singing preliminary round and got the prize money, and qualified for the second round. The moment I received the official message, it felt like I was hit by a surprise gift box. Habitually sending the good news to Su Qingyue. The next second, a WeChat nudge. Su Qingyue nudged my head, saying, well done, it'll go with you for the second round. I paused, reading the message over and over, somehow feeling that nudge. Was like Su Qingyue actually reaching out to pat my head. So doting, so spoiling. I held the phone, heart beating fast. February 2nd is Chen Shishi's birthday. Everyone planned to leave for a trip on that day. 2 days and 1 night in total, to celebrate her birthday too. In the group chat, Chen Shishi cried dramatically. Bros and sisses, I'm so touched I could die, I love you guys. Immediately someone replied, don't love me, gross. Su Qingyue replied, this birthday suits you quite well. That silly Chen Shishi tagged me, brother Gu. Look at her, she's openly bullying me. You have to stand up for me. Other girls also tagged me saying only I can handle Suqing Yue. I looked at the messages on my phone. A subtle feeling rose in my heart. How could I possibly handle Suqing Yue? Finally, I casually sent a comforting sticker about going skiing. The team building trip has a total of 8 people. The rest either had internships or family emergencies. They all expressed regret, crying their eyes out in the group chat. I had long begun to look forward to the trip, searching for guides online, booking entrance tickets. That's the skiing trip I've always dreamed of. And it's skiing with Suqing Yue too. All day long, my mind was filled with Suqing Yue skiing. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore and silently buried my face in my pillow. What kind of love potion did that damn Suqing Yue secretly feed me? February 2nd. Just off the high-speed train, everywhere were posters of the ancient city, and the big words, "Welcome to Luo City." The travel atmosphere instantly filled the air. Finally waited for this day. As soon as we arrived at the station, a group of people screamed in excitement. The first thing when traveling is to go to the hotel to drop off luggage. I shared a room with Zhang Qing's younger brother, Zhang Chen, knowing in advance that a 3rd grader was coming along. I specially prepared a box of Lego. Zhang Chen was immediately won over. On the way, the boy practically stuck to me. His mouth kept calling brother, and Suqing Yue's gaze slowly fell on the two of us. After a long while, she looked away. Chen Shushi jokingly said, "Oh my, octopus sister, if only you were as cute as your brother. If you were a boy, I would definitely marry you." Zhang Qing looked at her through gritted teeth. "It's your birthday today. I won't argue with you." The first stop of the trip was the ancient city. On the street, nearly 1 in 3 people was wearing hanfu. It felt like truly stepping into history. A thick cultural atmosphere washed over us. After everyone finished eating the local hot pot, we went to the reserved hanfu shop to change our looks. Suqing Yue chose a hanfu embroidered with small golden koi fish. When the makeup artist was applying makeup for her, she specifically emphasized not to do the internet hot girl makeup style. "Light makeup is fine." The lady made an okay gesture. She pursed her lips, checking herself in the mirror repeatedly, seeming to see a different side of herself. Zhang Chun changed into a blue hanfu. The boy, full of excitement, shook his head. Chen Shishi was the first to jump out, a magnificent empress outfit proudly puffing out her chest. "This empress has arrived." She laughed loudly. I pointed into the distance and quietly said, "Empresses are all over the streets already." Chen Shishi turned around. Sure enough, a bunch of women had all chosen the magnificent empress costumes. I wore a red ancient general outfit. The cuffs were embroidered with auspicious golden clouds. My whole body looked like a blazing fire, even more like a brilliant sun, with sword-like eyebrows and starry eyes. A high, straight nose bridge, truly spirited and dashing. A young general in brocade robes on a fine horse, under the scorching gaze of Suqing Yue. Even my breathing slowly paused. Beside me, Zhang Chen's eyes lit up. He said, "Wow," and clapped his hands, saying Sister Qing Yue and Brother Xing Cheng are wearing couple outfits. Huh? As soon as he finished speaking, the meaningful gazes of the girls slowly swept over. A string of question marks appeared on my forehead. I looked over at Suqing Yue, staring at my own clothes, yet I couldn't refute it. At a glance, they really did look like couple outfits. I was also wearing a brocade pouch at my waist, identical to the small koi fish on her clothes. I was flustered the whole way, intentionally walking at the back of the group, secretly picking up my phone, aiming the camera at Suqing Yue. I don't know why I wanted to capture this beautiful look of hers, to set as the wallpaper for my WeChat chat with her. I took a deep breath, outwardly calm and composed, but actually, even my hands were trembling slightly. I secretly opened the first photo. As a result of my shaking hand, it was very blurry, not capturing even 1/10 of her beauty, entering the scenic area. I quietly followed behind her, pretending to be calm. While the girls were laughing and playing, I found the right moment, raised my phone from the side and snapped several photos in succession, but at the very moment I pressed the shutter. I don't know if it was an illusion. I felt like Suqing Yue seemed to inadvertently look back at me, the corners of her lips curled up slightly, somehow carrying an illusion of seduction and pampering. It must be an illusion. I had a guilty conscience. Immediately put the phone away. My heart was pounding in my chest, seeing Suqing Yue's still cold appearance. Only then did I breathe a sigh of relief, thinking to myself that I probably wasn't discovered. There were really a lot of tourists around. I opened the photo album only to find an old man had accidentally entered the frame, completely blocking Suqing Yue. Didn't catch a single strand of her hair. I continued scrolling back, gradually getting absorbed in looking. There was one that could reluctantly serve as a chat wallpaper. The girl's graceful figure. She was wearing red, her lips curving up slightly. Suddenly, the phone was gently pulled away. The screen stopped right at that photo. "Let me see how you shot it." I don't know when. Suqing Yue had stood in front of me without me noticing. She looked down at the sneaky photo and let out a soft laugh. "It's okay, just a bit blurry." "Oh no, I'm busted." My ears instantly turned red. After a long while, I lowered my head. Good heavens, sneakily taking photos and getting caught by the subject. "Now I'm so embarrassed I want to crawl into a hole," I mumbled. I was capturing the moment, Candid photos are the most natural. I unconsciously touched my nose pretending to be calm. It's absolutely not sneaking a photo, okay? Su Qingyue's eyes held a hint of helplessness as she chuckled. Going along with me, I know it wasn't, not exposing me. Who told me to be so cute even when lying? The whole group arrived at the scenic area's famous check-in spot. Zhang Chen actively raised his hand, wanting to take a photo for me and Su Qingyue. You two are wearing matching colors. You definitely have to take a picture together today. I hurriedly stood under the city wall. Su Qingyue slowly followed, sticking behind me like a little tail. Suddenly, Zhang Chen put his hands on his hips and boldly commanded us to hold hands. Hurry up. Little couples should hold hands. Gu Xingcheng had given the boys so many Legos and snacks. He had to return the favor properly. I was about to make a V sign. Zhang Chen winked at me. Adoptive father, you understand. A look that said, I'm helping you. I didn't want to understand at all. At this moment, the hand hanging by my side felt a wave of warmth. It was Su Qingyue's hand gently touching mine. My hand slipped through her fingers, gently holding her hand. My lips curved up slightly. The two of us just interlaced our fingers like that. Su Qingyue's fingertips pressed tightly against mine. Zhang Chen took photos for us from different angles with the phone, taking pictures of us. Suddenly, Su Qingyue tilted her head slightly. Her breath was warm. Gu Xingcheng? Hearing my name? My conditioned reflex kicked in, and I immediately turned my head, looking down at her. The two looked at each other right as the shutter was pressed. Su Qingyue gave a lazy smile. Nothing. At this moment, Zhang Chen waved at us. Done taking photos. The boy proudly lifted his chin, looking smug at the girls behind. What do you think, sisters? Am I good? The girls all nodded, giving the boy a thumbs up. This assist was done very well. In the photo, glittering lanterns gently radiated a layer of warm light. A man and a woman stood before the ancient city wall, both wearing red hanfu. Their gazes met, 10 fingers interlaced, creating an ancient painting that stirred the heart. A girl said sourly. No wonder I'm so full. Turns out there's a pile of dog food here. They aren't even together yet. Nothing is official. Already so sweet. After they get together, who can stand it? Won't they be glued to each other every day? Another person immediately chimed in. I bet Brother Gu and Sister Qingyue will definitely become a couple this year. If not, I'll take a dump at the school gate for everyone to see. After laughing heartily, they found an enthusiastic passerby to help take a group photo. Chen Shishi was the main character today, naturally, standing in the center. As soon as the photo was taken, a girl already posted it on her moments, even deliberately changing the location. Writing a status to show off, landed in Luo City, a beautiful trip. When we started strolling the market, everyone was excited to wander around, now gathering together. Su Qingyue and I walked together. When I saw the ring toss game, my eyes were deeply attracted, couldn't walk away at all. Especially the guy playing ring toss right now was extremely good, hitting a pile of souvenirs in one go. The boss was about to grind his teeth to dust. Seeing others succeed made me want to try even more. More importantly, I took a glance and liked the folding fan furthest away, Su Qingyue. I want to play this. Su Qingyue followed behind me like a little tail. I did what I said. Paying for 10 rings and standing at the starting line, I painfully realized that the folding fan was really very far away, but I didn't want anything else, just that one. At this time, Chen Shishi and 2 other girls also happened to pass by, standing by watching, all cheering for me. I took a deep breath, threw the ring toward that folding fan. The result was no exception. The first few ended miserably. The 7th one missed by just a tiny bit. My heart felt shattered. The boss, however, looked visibly happy, smiling broadly at me. He loved this kind of tourist the most. Bad at it but loves to play. Can't hit anything even if they try to death. I gave up. Decisively threw one at random. Unexpectedly, the next second, the silver ring landed firmly around the boss's neck. I couldn't believe it. Eyes wide open. The smile on the boss's face instantly froze. Chen Shishi immediately shouted in excitement. Damn, Brother Gu is amazing. Managed to hit the hidden item. This time the boss's face looked even sourer, silently taking the silver ring off. I thought to myself, no need for such praise. I wanted to throw a ring again. Su Qingyue came to my side. Want the fan? It'll help you. I gently shook my head. I want to do it myself if I don't hit it. I can only say I'm not fated to have this fan. Vowed to throw the ring. Result. The next one still missed. Chen Shishi held her forehead inside, advising me to throw at the ceramic cup nearby. Or a scent pouch or something. At least I wouldn't leave empty-handed. I pursed my lips, still throwing the ring toward the farthest fan. Before I could even react, someone shouted, "You're awesome!" The golden ring had landed accurately. The boss was also very happy, handing the folding fan to me. Congratulations, handsome guy. This is the hardest one to hit. I was a bit in disbelief, holding the fan and smiling. Perhaps I really do have some luck on me. Su Qingyue walked beside me, her gaze falling on my face. Her voice was pleasant. You like a fan that much? Treating it like a treasure. I hummed a yes, attracted at first sight. The next second, this folding fan was unexpectedly shoved into Su Qingyue's hands. Before she could react, she saw my ears were slightly red. In the gentle breeze, hearing my low voice, "For you." After speaking, I pretended to be calm, looking left and right. Su Qingyue stood dazed on the spot, looking at my back, heart pounding. After I finished walking around, I went archery with Su Qingyue. The rules were very simple. Hitting the bullseye gives the highest points. Points decrease further out. There are 10 arrows in total. The final total score can be exchanged for gifts of different levels. Passers-by in front, girls holding their foreheads and sighing, exhausting themselves just to exchange for a few small trinkets. Su Qingyue paid and then stepped forward, drawing the bowstring tight, aiming at the bullseye, eyes slightly narrowed, sharp as a hawk. I stood aside watching, silently cheering for her. I saw her raise her hand, knocking the arrow on the string, aiming at the target. The arrow quickly tore through the air. 8th ring. Everyone around widened their eyes, but Su Qingyue frowned slightly, her gaze falling on the bow. Haven't played in a long time. Hands are a bit stiff. Also, this bow has some issues. She repeated the motion of drawing the bow, each arrow quickly pinned onto the target. 9th ring, 10th ring, 10th ring, 10th ring. The more I watched, the wider my eyes got. Help me, Su Qingyue. She truly has talent beyond ordinary people. Chen Shishi and Zhang Chen beside were both astonished. A proud smile blossomed on my lips. Su Qingyue, you're really amazing. Since when did you know how to do this? Su Qingyue tilted her head looking at me beaming. She coughed lightly and said absent-mindedly, played it before during a team building with the racing team. Actually not that amazing, but my eyes were full of her. At this time, the boss beside us also smiled, but inside he was gradually collapsing. Damn it! Is this girl here to wreck my shop? I'm losing money, losing money. There was still one last arrow. Su Qingyue wasn't in a hurry to shoot. She looked up and asked if I wanted to try. I pursed my lips and gently shook my head. I don't know how. This game relies on points to exchange for gifts. The 10th ring is 10 points. If I miss, wouldn't we lose these 10 points? Su Qingyue smiled. It'll teach you. Maybe the sunlight was too blinding. The girl's stunning red color suddenly struck my eyes, making me nod as if bewitched. I took the bow, turning around. Su Qingyue grabbed my hand. The distance between us became infinitely close. My whole body suddenly stiffened. Even my breath was quietly held. Help! My brain seems about to freeze again. Su Qingyue. Her melodious voice lingered in my ear. Gu Xingcheng. Don't be nervous. Relax a bit. Felt like I was about to get drunk on her. Even my voice was trembling. I slowly drew the bow, aiming at the bullseye. I don't know why my heart beat faster and faster. No mind for archery at all. All attention was focused on the girl behind me. My hands and back were unusually hot. Hot, too hot, my ears flushed with a layer of red. The next second, the arrow in my hand flew out quickly, accurately hitting the bullseye. Chen Shishi shouted with a face full of excitement. Damn, Sister Qingyue is so awesome, can you teach me? I can only get ring 5 at most. Su Qingyue looked up, laughing, telling her to get lost. Chen Shishi pouted, annoying. I'll draw circles to curse you. The boss beside was also silently drawing circles. I give up. This couple shooting arrows, it's fine if they're good, but they also serve me dog food to eat. Only when Su Qingyue kept her distance to exchange prizes did I gasp for air, my chest heaving violently. Zhang Chen innocently raised the phone, looking for praise. Brother Cheng, look, quickly. I just captured the scene of you two shooting arrows together. I really thank you. I took the phone, looking down at the photo, staring with a head full of question marks. This. What is this? Why did I look like I was drugged at that moment? Suddenly, Su Qingyue walked over. I immediately turned off the phone, guiltily looking up. What's wrong? Su Qingyue stood in front of me, shoving the lantern handle into my palm, her tone serious. A return gift for the folding fan, Gu Qingcheng. Hope the koi fish will bring you luck. It was a koi lantern she had exchanged for, a handheld lantern. On the lotus lamp was a red carp, traditional craftsmanship, vivid as real life. I came back to my senses, dazedly carrying the koi lantern, facing Su Qingyue's clear, cool eyes. A complex, inexplicable emotion rose up. The tourist area was incredibly lively, but in my eyes, only the person in front of me remained. At that moment, I suddenly realized, actually, my heart was the real bullseye, and Su Qingyue had accurately hit me long ago. In the evening, we ate local specialty hot pot and secretly ordered a super big cake, hiding it from Chen Shishi, wishing her a happy birthday on February 2nd, the moment Su Qingyue brought the cake out from behind. Chen Shishi was immediately moved to tears. The kid next door was crying from craving it too. The birthday gift I gave was a pair of sunglasses, and Su Qingyue gave her a pink gaming chair, sent straight to her home. Chen Shishi wailed, so touching. I love you guys. The tourist spot was even more beautiful at night. I lay on the bridge enjoying the night breeze. I really liked it, really liked this kind of trip, after strolling through another spot. The whole group returned to the hotel exhausted. WeChat step count was at least tens of thousands. I just finished drying my hair and came out. Found Zhang Chen lying on the bed watching TV. The TV was showing an idol drama. The male and female leads went on a date after confirming their relationship. The male lead went archery, caught plushies, coaxing the female lead to be happy. Finally, the two listened to music together under the snow, fingers interlaced, staring affectionately at each other. My face was full of question marks. Why does this drama plot look a bit familiar? Zhang Chen quietly complained while drinking yogurt. Idol dramas nowadays are so cliché. I feel like the main couple likes each other inexplicably and get together inexplicably. Not even as sweet as you and Sister Qingyue. My ears turned slightly red. I retorted in a low voice. What's sweet about me and her? Zhang Chen said boldly. It is sweet. Those affectionate looks, eyes full of each other. Even a passing dog would have to ship you two. If you don't believe it, look at the photos. I was rarely silent. Returned to my bed, opened the photos in the group chat, scrolled to the photo of me and Su Qingyue holding hands in front of the ancient city. The photo where our eyes met. My breath hitched slightly. In the photo, why did the way I look at Su Qingyue resemble a pervert? I silently saved the photo, setting it as the chat wallpaper. I couldn't help but scroll through the history, slowly scrolling up, looking back at every bit of us. Too much, scrolling endlessly. Clearly a very beautiful chat history. Clearly something that would make one feel very warm. But as I scrolled, my eyes inexplicably heated up. Why is she so good? Everyone says she is cold, but clearly she is the gentlest and most thoughtful person. Every time I receive a message from Su Qingyue, I can't help but be happy. Su Qingyue also almost always replies instantly. I turned off the phone. The seed that had already taken root and sprouted in my heart had unknowingly grown into a giant tree. Luo City Ski Resort is one of the most famous ski resorts in the country. Early next morning, everyone finished putting on ski gear, taking the cable car up the snowy mountain, excitedly rushing into the embrace of snow. Skiing was what I looked forward to the most, standing on the snowy peak looking down. I seemed to become much smaller myself. I wore a dark gray suit, wearing protective goggles. There were 2 wolf ears on the helmet, highlighting my broad shoulders and slim waist. The next second, my head was patted twice gently. I immediately turned to glare at the culprit. Why did you pat me? Su Qingyue stood right behind me, wearing a high ponytail, wearing protective goggles, a white ski suit, adding a bit of arrogance to her calm aura. Her lips quirked up slightly. Her melodious voice slowly echoed in my ear. Saw you looked handsome, couldn't help but want to pat. I pursed my lips, not willing to show weakness, reached out and gently patted Su Qingyue's helmet. Then you're cute too. The girls nearby were dying of jealousy, frantically patting each other's heads, mocking tone. You're cute too. Su Qingyue immediately glared at them. The gentleness in her eyes instantly vanished, replaced by a fierce and disgusted look. Get lost. Completely opposite to just now. The girls obediently begged for mercy and went to ski. At first, everyone scattered to play. Zhang Chen followed Zhang Qing to the safer and flatter children's area. While I was still figuring out how to ski, Su Qingyue had already rushed down first, testing it out for them. A girl shouted from the top. Sister Qingyue, slow down, don't fall. But Su Qingyue seemed to be very athletically gifted. She practices motorcycle racing. Her core strength is extremely powerful. Clearly, she was also skiing for the first time, but she moved freely on the ski slope, free and unrestrained, immediately attracting the attention of many guys around, even catching the attention of some girls. I mimicked her, learning movements from Chen Shishi and the others, imagining I would be as cool and handsome as Su Qingyue. I learned with decent form, slowly and carefully moving the skis. The idea was beautiful, but reality was cruel. As soon as I moved, my whole body lost control, falling backward, landing on my butt in the snow. After Su Qingyue finished skiing and returned, Chen Shishi suddenly hugged her. You're so amazing, give me a hug quickly, let me get some of that talent. Su Qingyue chuckled softly. Sure, have some luck, everyone gets a share. Not long after, another girl pulled Chen Shishi away directly. Excited, my turn, I want some of that aura too. After all the girls had gotten their luck, absorbed the aura, only I was left. I stood still, quietly watching the girls laughing and talking happily. Suddenly, a slender figure rushed into view. Su Qingyue walked up to me, spreading her arms slightly, her voice melodious. Gu Xingcheng, come get some luck. I was stunned for a few seconds, asked softly. Su Qingyue received the answer, stepped forward and hugged me, her small face buried in my chest. My brain froze for 2 seconds. I actively wrapped my arms around her body. I thought I was just like the other girls, just hugging for a few seconds. But when I wanted to let go, Su Qingyue was still holding me tightly, still not letting go. I held my breath, feeling her soft body, my voice warm and gentle. Su Qingyue, you're really amazing. You can do everything well. As soon as I finished speaking, Su Qingyue's eyes became gentle. She hummed softly. Her voice, good woman. Hot breath exhaled against my chest. My chest burned. My heart almost wanted to jump out of my chest. All signs pointed to one thing. I'm probably really done for. I just buried my head, obediently staying in her embrace. Su Qingyue's lashes lowered slightly, deeply feeling my heartbeat. White, her small face flushed with a layer of pale pink. I don't know how long passed before Su Qingyue pulled away. Done hugging, she looked natural, leisurely turning around, expression calm and composed, actually trying to hide her blushing cheeks. Just to openly hug you, I hugged everyone else. The two distanced themselves. I just breathed a sigh of relief. Su Qingyue suddenly reached her hand out to me. I'll take you skiing with me. My breath paused for a moment. In my past life, when I went skiing alone, I fell and severely sprained my leg. I was still a bit scared now. But if Su Qingyue is here, I seem to be wrapped in a thick sense of security. Even the slight fear and anxiety vanished completely. I reached out and took her hand. My heart beat inexplicably fast. Su Qingyue and I faced each other holding hands, slowly skiing down from the peak, coordinating perfectly in harmony. like a pair of butterflies dancing across this snowy land. Not far away, Zhang Chen held up the phone taking photos and videos of the two of us. On the screen, one white and one gray, the romantic tension was too thick. So compatible, the boy wanted to push their heads together and make them kiss madly. Zhang Chen immersed in shipping them, grinning widely. Result: lost balance and fell hard onto the snow. "Wah!" the boy shouted aggrievedly. Zhang Qing helplessly picked him up. "I told you, don't use your phone while skiing." Cold wind blew against my face. I held Su Qingyue's hand tightly, looking down at the foot of the mountain. Su Qingyue slowly sped up. Looking at me, she said softly, "Relax a bit. Are you used to this speed?" I nodded. A strange light flashed in my eyes. "Yeah, it's fine. If only we could stay in this moment forever. It wouldn't seem so bad." I was no longer tense or afraid, gradually getting excited. Two figures glided through the howling cold wind, gliding across this vast white snowfield, leaving a perfect trail. This winter seemed especially romantic. Finally, the group gathered in a circle, taking check-in photos at the ski resort, ending a journey of free, unrestrained, and passionate youth. Everyone returned, while sitting on the high-speed train, as if suddenly pulled back to normalcy. Reality created a huge withdrawal reaction, creating a deep sense of loss. The girls cried miserably, wailing, "I feel like I just got here. Why do I have to go back? I don't want to press 1 to return to the first day. Boo-hoo, it was so fun. Sisters, let's continue next time." I sat silently, just smiling and nodding, expressing agreement with their words. Suddenly, Su Qingyue tilted her head, calling my name, "Gu Xingcheng." I tilted my head to look at her. The high-speed train ran steadily and quickly on the tracks. Su Qingyue tentatively touched my index finger lightly. "Go watch the sea with me during summer break, okay? In a high-end villa. Sister Ting, here are the photos you needed." Yang Yuting hadn't slept well for over 10 days straight. The dark circles under her eyes were getting worse. She tried to keep a calm face, zooming in on the photo.